This video is sponsored by Kamikoto.
Hey guys, if you want to see my uncut version of this video, including moment-by-moment analysis of crime scene footage, which is far too shocking to show you on YouTube, it's available over on my Patreon for just $2. That's patreon.com/traplawross. Thanks. On the 4th of August 2020, Chicago rapper FBG Duck was gunned down in broad daylight. Duck was left on the ground dying next to a jammed pistol, with dozens of bullets in his body bleeding out for over 20 minutes. But this was no ordinary gangland hit, because that spot where Duck would lay fighting for his life was outside of a Dolce & Gabbana store in Chicago's Gold Coast, a luxury shopping district in the north of Chicago, miles away from the blocks on the city's south side, where gang warfare is rampant and the streets are considered some of the most dangerous in America. The assassination of FBG Duck in this manner conjures up images of Chicago gang warfare in the 20s, when the likes of Al Capone were running in the streets of Chicago, massacring Opps and leaving bodies all over the city, decades before drill music had even been invented. Many people thought that such a brazen murder in an upmarket tourist spot would have been an open and shut case, but shockingly, Duck's murder would go unsolved for over a year. Well, unsolved by the police, because over the course of that year, a number of young men linked to the crime and the gang responsible would run free, bragging about the crime and celebrating Duck's death all over social media and in hit songs. Some songs celebrating Duck's murder would land on the Billboard chart and earn RIAA certifications, while other songs that hinted direct involvement would fly under the radar. Members of the gang allegedly responsible for killing Duck would go live on Instagram, telling viewers that they're smoking on Duck, a common insult to the deceased in modern day drill music. But less common in this case, one member would even go as far as to flex shoes hinting at his involvement in the crime on Instagram. Those who were allegedly responsible for killing Duck were so confident that they wouldn't be caught that they boasted about the murder for over a year. But why would anyone do this? Well, the pride and deep-seated need for revenge in a gang war that's seen dozens of bodies drop on both sides is definitely part of it. But in this story, it's much deeper and darker, because it seems that part of the reason that these men wanted to dance on Duck's grave so badly after he was murdered was shockingly for the clout. The recognition that they received on social media and in the drill music community for being real killers, real steppers, savages, gangsters. This was the reputation that these young men were looking for in the streets that they lived in. However, in the end, when you commit a crime as bold as this, it really is just a matter of time until you get caught. And while it took the FBI over a year to put their suspects in custody, it was only a matter of weeks before the fans, Redditors, commenters, and YouTubers would solve the case, putting it out there for the whole world to see with alarming accuracy who was involved in the murder of FBG Duck. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at why anyone would want to kill FBG Duck so badly that they would do it in the middle of a busy street in broad daylight, in front of dozens of civilians armed with smartphones, why the men who allegedly did it would want to brag so openly about such an evil act of violence, and how their desperate need for clout on social media would ultimately play a big part in their downfall, with the feds swooping in, likely bringing a racketeering case with so much comprehensive evidence that it's hard to believe that anybody involved in this case is going to see the outside of a prison cell for the rest of their lives. This is the story of FBG Duck, aka Big Clout. But before we get into the details, a quick word from today's sponsor.
Kamikoto, they are real though. Japanese steel, I gotta let you know. Kamikoto makes great Japanese steel kitchen knives, using traditional techniques from Japan that will give you the best slice. And each knife is individually inspected, and it comes with a full lifetime guarantee, so the customers are respected. Wait, check this. And Kamikoto only use steel from mills in Japan. It means their product's the highest quality. You can feel it in your hand. I'm talking a 19-step process, takes several years to complete. That's why every single Kamikoto knife's quality can't be beat. Over a century of experience, their expert bladesmiths are the best, forging and shaping raw steel, sharpening the blade to the finest edge. But don't forget, you gotta maintain that sharp edge with one of Kamikoto's sharpening whetstones to keep it fresh. So why not put one to the test? Why do you think they're so popular in Michelin-starred restaurants, being used by all of their amazing chefs? And each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty ashwood box. Couldn't believe it when I opened that up. I swear my jaw just dropped. The whole presentation is super lit. That's why Kamikoto's the perfect gift. They look quality and serious and cut better than all my other knives, period. So folks, Kamikoto has a big sale going on right now, and they're offering Trap Law Ross viewers an extra $50 on any purchase they make using my link below, or going to kamikoto.com/trap. So don't keep using blunt knives like a sucker. Start your journey with Japanese steel by visiting Kamikoto today. Thanks, Kamikoto. Peace.
I ain't scared of nothing. Nobody in this world scam me. You wanna know why? Cause a nigga bleed just like me.
I hit the floor. I couldn't believe it.
You can go on the internet right now. You can see people in music videos, guns all over the place, talking about who they've shot or who they're going to shoot.
Of course I know motherfuckers want to kill me. I'm a very disrespectful person.
But they gonna die. You diss me, I'm gonna kill you.
Whoever is responsible for my son's demise, who's ever happy that he's gone, laugh now, cry later.
On October the 13th, 2021, the FBI descended into Parkway Gardens, a Chicago housing project better known as O Block. They were there as part of a plan to arrest 5 men for the murder of FBG Duck. The men arrested were Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, to Carlos Offord, aka Los Munna, Marcus Smart, aka Muwop, Christopher Thomas, aka C-Thang, and Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny Mac. These guys are all members or affiliates of O Block, a Chicago street gang turned rap collective based out of Parkway Gardens, aka O Block. Originally made famous by rapper Chief Keef, who these days is far away from the dangerous blocks that he came up rapping about. Most recently, we saw rapper King Von hail from O Block and firmly put O Block on the map through his music. By the time Von was killed in 2020, he was probably the most famous person from O Block to ever hold a microphone or a gun. And despite making waves in the music industry after releasing a string of 3 successful projects, right up to his death, King Von was moving like a person still deep in the streets, rolling all over the country with a mob of O Block affiliated goons, some of which have been made social media famous, in no small part by their association with Von. Other O Block affiliates who have become famous to fans and feds via music and social media include BJ, Bosstop, Duke, DQ, Gleesh, and of course there's many fallen members who have passed away who we'll be talking about shortly. And even more so, beyond the inner circle of King Von and the O Block natives who are relevant to this story, videos exist apparently documenting all of the members of O Block, with the group's membership apparently exceeding 100 in total. And these are some of the names that you'll be hearing the likes of King Von shouting out and representing in his music. So we're not covering every single O Block member that's ever lived in this story, but we are focusing on the names that you're likely going to be hearing referenced in King Von's music. Aside from shouting out the names of rappers that he regularly takes on drills, King Von's lyrics are also famously littered with disses aimed at his Opps and their block on 63rd. O Block, or Parkway Gardens, is considered 64th, hence why King Von has a giant 64 tattooed on both of his shoulders, while 63rd is a nearby street that connects with St. Lawrence Avenue and Eberhart Avenue, areas known to be opposing gang sets to O Block. And when it comes to O Block's opposition, there really was no bigger op than FBG Duck. FBG Duck started rapping around 2011, long before Von had ever picked up a microphone, teaming up with other local rappers on their side of the map, forming the street rap collective FBG or Flyboy Gang, rapping with the likes of Lil J, Billionaire Black, FBG Cash, FBG Dutchie, and Wooski. Another name this group would go by is the Clout Boys, with FBG Duck himself being referred to as Big Clout. Now, one of the first things that Duck did in the rap game that got him attention was a music video that he dropped in 2011, only hours after the murder of Odee Perry, a young man from Parkway Gardens, with O Block literally being named in his memory for Odee. Duck from the rival hood would release a song soon after to prod his enemies.
These days, man, you gotta use your head in the street. Playing tough, then you gon' end up dead in these streets.
So, the guys from O Block identify as BDs, or Black Disciples, and the ones over on 63rd, St. Lawrence and Eberhart identify as GDs, or Gangster Disciples. Now, I did a breakdown on the history of the BDs and the GDs, going all the way back to the 60s in another video on my channel if you're interested in learning more about the history, but essentially, BDs identify as GDK, or GD Killers, and GDs identify as BDK, or BD Killers. Now, it didn't take long for Duck to pick up some attention in the streets and through his music, quickly making him one of the biggest GD-affiliated rappers in the city. There was a period of time where another young man called Lil Jojo put the GDs on the map after releasing a song called BDK, becoming a Chicago anthem for GDs who wanted to kill BDs. Unfortunately, as a result of his affiliations and actions in the streets, Lil Jojo ended up being murdered in 2012. Being the most famous GD rapper in the city was dangerous, but FBG Duck wasn't put off. After Jojo's death, Duck vowed to keep the BDK movement alive in his music, as seen in numerous tweets. Being the flag bearer for a movement calling to K all of the BDs in the city naturally made Duck a target for his opposition. And as part of the ongoing war between BD rappers from O Block and the GD rappers from 63rd, rappers from both sides would regularly go back and forth on social media for the whole world to see, with Duck and King Von from O Block having numerous public spats on Twitter going back as early as 2012. This includes one famous exchange supposedly one day before King Von killed K.I, a female GD that Duck was friends with. But Duck knew the consequences of being the top GD in his city. He'd been shot numerous times in the streets of Chicago, and his head probably had the biggest bounty on it that had ever been seen over the last 10 years of Chicago's gang violence. And Duck knew it. He lived in fear every day, but he didn't let it stop him. In fact, he told DJ Vlad in a Vlad TV interview back in 2017 that he thought about being killed every single day.
I know motherfuckers want to hurt me, motherfuckers want to take my life. Of course I know motherfuckers want to kill me. I'm a very disrespectful person.
Duck would tell his IG live viewers that he is hood to the core, and whilst most rappers have the goal to make it out of the hood, he doesn't plan to ever leave.
Last time I checked, the goal in the hood is to make it out, that motherfucker. Stupid ass people. Not to always stay in there. But I'm a hood nigga, and I ain't running from no motherfucker, so I don't gotta go nowhere. I ain't scared of nothing. Nobody in this world scared me. You wanna know why? Cause a nigga bleed just like me.
It's incredibly sad that even with the foresight that he clearly had, Duck couldn't just put his pride to one side and get out of the city of Chicago before it claimed his life. But in the end, the war in Chicago truly is just one long game of last man standing. And sadly today, Duck is no longer with us, and those accused of doing it are likely going to spend the rest of their lives in prison cells. But I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, what on earth would cause two rival neighborhoods to want to kill each other so bad, to the point where they don't care about getting killed themselves, facing life in prison, or killing an innocent bystander in the process? Well, the unfortunate truth is, so much tit-for-tat bloodshed has taken place on both sides of this war that it's important to remember that in this story, we are looking at young men who grew up knowing nothing other than violence, murder, and suffering since they were children. Many of the young men growing up on both sides of this war witnessed many of their teenage friends be murdered in the streets by rivals. And with the Chicago Police Department leaving around 60% of the city's murders unsolved, and the black community particularly underserved when it comes to justice, it's almost hard to blame these young men who grew up knowing nothing but violence and revenge. This is a cycle of violence that started over a decade ago, long before anyone had made a drill song about it. So, to truly understand why FBG Duck was stalked to his grave by killers that literally lived only a 2-minute drive away from where he grew up, we have to take a closer look and appreciate the dozens of young men and essentially children who have been murdered on both sides of this war over the last 10 years. And I tell you what, as you're going to see as this story develops, the war in Chicago is much closer to an armed conflict in the Middle East than your typical hip-hop beef. Now, if you've already seen the previous video that I did on the war between O Block and Tookaville, then feel free to skip this part of the video. That video covered the ongoing back and forth between O Block and the street crews coming out of 63rd between the years of 2010 and 2014. Tookaville is another name of the SDL EBT sets on 63rd, with the name Tookaville itself being derived from another young man from that area who was sadly gunned down as a teenager by the name Tooka. You've likely heard his name being dissed numerous times in songs by rappers from O Block. In fact, as part of the trend of a block being renamed after a young man who lost their life in the war, O Block wasn't always called O Block. It actually used to be called Wick City, which stood for wild, insane, and crazy. But just like Tookaville, Wick City ended up being renamed O Block after the murder of young member Odee Perry. So let's take a quick look back at that video to get up to speed on how the early days of this feud begun, so that we can remember some of the names of those who lost their lives in the early days of this beef, with their memory contributing to the careers of King Von, FBG Duck, and their respective crews. Now, it's hard to find one cataclysmic event that has caused the enormous wave of beef between these two groups. What seems to be the reality is that some of this beef dates all the way back to high school days, where members from these opposing areas would get into pretty basic schoolyard fights. However, these small, local schoolyard beefs would unfortunately escalate into deadly violence when those involved became old enough to get guns. But all the way back in the early 2010s, King Von had been repping his BD affiliation on social media to the fullest, holding down the blocks of Parkway and showing love to his gang for the entire world to see.
Yeah, bitch.
Let me see.
Other big names in the Wick City BD set include feared supposed shooters like HK and J Money or J Munna. Then of course there's King Von's beloved BD bro T Roy, who is apparently a bit of a dynamic duo along with Von, with the close bond between these two becoming very relevant later in the story. And in fact, this is the exact reason why even right up until his death in 2020, King Von used to go by the name V-Roy on Twitter. And the fact that he comes from Wick City is why his Twitter handle still is at King Von from the Wick. Basically, King Von and T-Roy loved their gang and they loved their block, holding it down with other Wick City members like Big A, Odee, Trey 5, Platoon, Boss Money, Sheroid, Duke, who's actually been mentioned in numerous King Von lyrics, Rah Rah, aka Breezy, and Bosstop, who also became a rapper like Keith. The Wick City BDs were very well known for throwing up GDK hand signs repeatedly to show the world that they were GD killers, who were very much indeed down to ride and kill.
GDK shit, man. You feel me? Everybody got them voice in their hand, man. You feel me? GDK. Broke boys.
So, who were the GD boys that these guys wanted to K so badly? Well, over on the STL EBT side, they were up against a few names who you might know if you're well versed in Chicago drill culture. The first to come to mind is Jakira Barnes, also known as Key or K.I, a young female hitter who was good friends with fellow member Tooka growing up. Another member was FBG Butter, who along with K.I were also known as a bit of a dynamic duo dubbed the Twins. Other members actually went by FBG or Flyboy Gang, an STL EB clique more focused on making music, which included other names like FBG Brick, and of course the legendary FBG Duck. Another musically inclined member who repped FBG was Lil J, who lived in STL and would later become more clicked up with them, but mainly had beefs with 600 that kind of ran adjacent to this feud. They had Lil B and Wooski, who had actually been dubbed King of the Opps. There was BossTrell and Lil Doc. On the 12th of January 2011, 15-year-old Shondale Gregory, known on the streets as Tooka, was waiting at a bus stop at the 600 block on East 63rd Street. At a certain point, a dark-coloured vehicle pops up and somebody hops out wearing a half mask. Some have said that this person exchanged a few words with Tooka, but ultimately within seconds, they had shot Tooka multiple times and fled the scene. STL member FBG Duck was actually close friends with Tooka, saying that after hearing about his death, he actually ran to the scene of the crime, where in a tragic moment, he even got to see his slain brother before he was taken away.
Me and him clicked, like that was one of my real close friends. Like every day, like spend the night at his house, he spend the night at mine. And my cousin came in there running to me crying and shit, telling me, your friend just got killed. You feel me? Then I ran all the way from 62nd and Wabash all the way to 63rd to St. Lawrence. Saved them right there on the floor. You know how that shit go, broke right down.
In response to this tragic loss, STL EBT would rename their hood Tookaville in his honor and as a commitment for revenge. And members like FBG Brick would rep Tooka's memory to the fullest.
Do you represent Tookaville?
Oh, to the fullest. That's what I do it for. That's what it's always been about since day one. Just Tooka. Like, my homie was 15 years old when he got killed. Never hurt nobody, never did nothing, you know what I'm saying?
As you may well know, Tooka's name has been endlessly dragged in hip-hop over the years. Now, I'm not going to get into every instance or drama over this happening, but story goes, initially, the GDs from Tookaville, people like FBG Duck, were apparently saying that they were smoking Tooka out of respect for him, a nod to the old story that Tupac's crew, the Outlaws, smoked his ashes in a blunt after he died. But the BD Opps from Wick City immediately decided to flip this and start making fun of Tookaville. The most immediate and iconic diss, of course, was Chief Keef's song 300, where he says, "Fuck Tooka Gang." And from here, other members continued the disrespect. One of Tooka's closest friends growing up was a young girl named K.I, but you might know her better as the young girl who became a teenage assassin, supposedly racking up 17 bodies by 17. Story goes, it was the death of Tooka that actually turned K.I into a cold-blooded killer. Apparently coached in shooting by her cousin, fellow Tookaville GD BossTrell, and maneuvering in the streets by her older brother Seaball, a bloodthirsty teenage K.I would soon become a bona fide hitter for the Tookaville GDs. Hellbent on getting revenge for Tooka, K.I would eventually find it in the form of Odee. At around 11:35 p.m. on August the 10th, 2011, 20-year-old Odee Perry, respected Wick City member, was shot and killed near Parkway Gardens on 400 block of East 64th Street. Odee suffered multiple gunshot wounds, including one to the neck, and was pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital within an hour of the shooting. Just like Tooka, in his memory, the Wick City BDs renamed Parkway Gardens O Block in his memory, committing to avenge him. Of course, the likes of Chief Keef and King Von immortalized O Block, as it is now known today, in their music forever. The killing of Odee Odee Perry was supposedly revenge for the killing of Tooka, with this apparently being exemplified by the fact that it went down on Tooka's very birthday. Odee's killers were never apprehended, but from here, rumors begun to swirl that this was actually the first victim of teenage Tookaville assassin K.I. And one of the people pushing these rumors was of course Lil J, who had apparently shared the following image along with a caption saying shout out to them twins that made O-Block, referring to FBG Butter and K.I. However, for the record, no one has been convicted of this crime and there was never any proof tying K.I. or Butter to the killing of Odee Perry. Well, actually, many years later, a Freedom of Information request did reveal that the cops did officially name K.I. and BossTrell as subjects on the report. This came after an unnamed informant named them as the shooters in 2016, years after they had passed. At 6:47 p.m. on February the 12th, 2012, Sheroid Liggins of O-Block was discovered with a gunshot wound to the head at 6400 block of South King Drive, just outside Parkway Gardens once again. You're starting to see why they call it the most dangerous block in America now, right? Sheroid remained in hospital fighting for his life for around 4 days, until February the 20th, when he was unfortunately pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital. No one was ever caught for this crime. However, K.I. has suggested pretty heavily on Twitter that BossTrell from Tookaville was the one responsible, with some of the internet detectives over on Chiracology digging deeper into these tweets and suggesting that when this shooting went down, BossTrell had actually shot Sheroid from all the way across the street. Impeccable aim, apparently the result of his use of a gun with a red laser beam sight on it to improve his accuracy. That gun itself apparently even featured in the Lil J FBG Duck music video for the song Critical, a Chief Keef diss that actually dropped months after this happened. Combine this with the fact that BossTrell himself seemed to be bragging about the incident on Twitter later in the year, with K.I. also tweeting references to that red beam. A frankly brazen attack, which naturally only beget more bloodshed between O-Block and Tookaville in the months that followed. Now, I've got some extra info for you here, because Sheroid, who was actually murdered early on in this beef, is actually the brother of C-Murder, another O-Block member who was arrested by the feds for the murder of FBG Duck. We saw C-Murder tribute to his fallen brother on Instagram regularly, so with this in mind, you can understand why he would have held a years-long grudge against the opposing gang who took the life of his brother. But it didn't end there, because the bloodshed in the streets would continue, with the likes of King Von apparently playing a major part in taking the lives of enemies from the opposing area. On October the 13th, 2012, a 17-year-old boy named Modell McCambry was walking along the street with his cousin on the way to meet a girl. This went down on the 6300 block of South Rhodes Avenue. At around 9:30 p.m, somebody walked up and opened fire, hitting Modell in the chest. He too later died in Stroger Hospital. But who was responsible, you ask? Well, many have suggested that it was actually O-Block future rap superstar King Von, mainly due to the fact that he himself had made numerous tweets to Tookaville Op Wooski, where Von seems to hint at him, or at least his crew, being responsible for Modell's death. In fact, Von was actually rumoured to have been present for numerous shootings carried out by the O-Block during this period of time, which naturally built him up a feared reputation as a member who was always down to do some dirt. He himself even famously bragged in his songs to have a total of 7 bodies under his belt. Yes, it is thought that King Von himself actually carried out this killing, with Von around this time developing not only a talent for murder as part of the deadly ongoing war in his hood, but also a habit of bragging about the bodies that he had caught in the streets publicly, mainly using social media and sites like Twitter to brag about his exploits in the streets. Von would even go back and forth directly with Opps online for everyone to see, including this iconic Twitter exchange with rival rapper Wooski about who has more bodies. Von would tweet things around this time that he just wants to kill, and that apparently women don't want to be with him when they find out that he's a murderer. Bragging about dirt in the streets on social media is a precedent that would be set early in this story and would continue throughout the entirety of the 10-year war. It seems that the young men involved in committing these crimes are surprisingly eager to brag and boast about their exploits online, presumably doing this for status or clout or ego, and it would be this habit that would play a huge part in their eventual downfall, but not before a whole lot more killing had taken place. On October the 30th, 2012, a man named Derek Johnson, also known on the streets as P5 or Crack, was gunned down. Now, he wasn't actually Tookaville, but a member of Jarrow City, a Chicago gang set north of Tookaville with a long history dating to back before this feud even began. But apparently, P5 was out walking on Tookaville turf, specifically the 6200 block of South Eberhart Avenue, where apparently J-Money, King Von, and Big A of O-Block were lurking in the area looking for Tookaville Opps to attack. In fact, only a day before this incident went down, King Von himself had tweeted that he was out trying to catch more bodies so that he could catch up with fellow O-Block shooter T-Roy. So story goes that when these O-Block shooters were out lurking, they spotted P5 around 9:13 in the morning, opening fire and hitting him multiple times. Some have even gone as far as to suggest that he was actually hit 6 times in the head and 9 times in the body. P5 was taken to Stroger Hospital, but once again pronounced dead within the hour. And from here, the wanton violence between O-Block and Tookaville was far from over, as the O-Block side would continue to seek retribution for the attacks that had been done on them, and so soon after the P5 incident, O-Block would appear to claim a high-profile member of Tookaville. 17-year-old Rodney Stewart, aka BossTrell, aka the red beam slinging marksman who'd allegedly killed Sheroid from way across the street for Tookaville, was apparently planning to flee town, tweeting about being excited for a fresh start on the 6th of November, even purchasing a bus ticket with the intention of leaving town on the 10th. But unfortunately, only 2 days before his scheduled departure, on the 8th of November, BossTrell was found face down in an alley in the 2600 block of West 83rd Street. He'd been shot in the back of the head. Now, in case you couldn't tell, the location of this shooting is a long way from O-Block and Tookaville, and it's actually been suggested by some that J-Money and T-Roy were actually responsible for coordinating a setup of BossTrell via an allegedly disloyal ex-girlfriend, apparently luring him well away from Tookaville with the promise of meeting a girl, but when he arrived, BT was shot in the head and left for dead. His grandmother said the identity of the shooter is not a secret, but no witnesses were willing to step up. He didn't actually pass away immediately and apparently was left fighting for his life brain dead in the hospital for several days. This was followed by T-Roy of O-Block, who is widely believed to have been responsible for this incident, mockingly tweeting on the 8th of November, "No, Trell, stay alive." Meanwhile, Tookaville affiliates like FBG Cash were paying their respects to BossTrell, but ultimately he passed away later that day. Meanwhile, of course, over on O-Block, they were celebrating for having gotten retribution for their fallen brother Sheroid, but BossTrell was of course a devastating loss for Tookaville, and he would soon be avenged in spectacular fashion. As on September the 2nd, 2013, Jerome Wood, also known as J-Money, from O-Block was allegedly set up, ironically in a way not dissimilar to how BossTrell had been set up, with J-Money apparently visiting a location on the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue around 2 PM. Allegedly set up by a girl on the Opps turf, legend has it that J-Money was expecting to see a woman he knew, but arrived to the location to be greeted by Lil B and K.I from Tookaville. He apparently attempted to flee down a gangway into an adjacent property, but he was unfortunately shot in the head, collapsing outdoors and not making it. Tweets from other gang members have suggested that this incident was direct retaliation for P5, as well as BossTrell, and K.I actually tweeted after this incident about shooting people in the back of the head, tweets which many people thought suggested direct involvement by K.I, referring to this exact incident. That's as far as things went in that Tookaville video. However, things would eventually catch up with that female assassin, K.I, as she'd be gunned down on April the 11th, 2014. And for 7 years, many people, including myself, speculated on whether King Von had been involved with the killing with some assistance from fellow O-Block hitter Big A. And only after his death in 2021 did Chicago police release documents appearing to confirm that King Von himself was indeed the killer of K.I, with apparently multiple witnesses pinning Von as the shooter, but the cops ultimately didn't have enough evidence to bring an official charge against Von at this point. But that wouldn't matter, because only around a month and a half after the murder of K.I, King Von would catch yet another body, but this time end up in jail. A story which once again I have already covered in a detailed video on this channel. May 29th, 2014, a birthday party is taking place in Englewood, Chicago, on the 5700 block of South LaSalle Street. And in attendance at this party are 4 men. A man named Malcolm Stuckey, who's chilling at this party with 2 unnamed friends of his. And also at the party is Davon Bennett, better known nowadays as King Von, the rapper from Chicago's O-Block. Now, at a certain point during this party, Malcolm and his homies are steady eyeballing King Von, who decides at this point to briefly leave the party. He goes away and allegedly gets his homie Michael Wade, aka Big Mike. Now, Big Mike later told the police that he had gone to this party with King Von with the intention of acting as muscle for Von, who had planned to confront the person who had been mean mugging him. And when Von and Big Mike got back to the party around 45 minutes later, they parked up in an alleyway. Allegedly at this point, they both got out with loaded guns and proceeded to the front porch of the property, where they opened fire on Malcolm Stuckey and the 2 other men. Apparently they ended up firing over 20 shots. Malcolm Stuckey was unfortunately fatally wounded in the head. Meanwhile, the 2 other men attempted to flee, one into the house and the other down the street. However, unfortunately, once again, both were hit by gunshots, but ultimately they both survived. At this point, allegedly, Von and Big Mike ran back to their car and fled the scene. But of course, this was a serious charge that neither of them could run from for long. And within a few weeks, they were both in custody. So King Von would be picked up for murder and end up sitting in jail for around 3.5 years. Eventually, he would miraculously manage to beat those charges on a technicality. But while Von was locked up, the war would continue to play out in the streets. And with one of O Block's most fearsome hitters, King Von, locked up, the block would be vulnerable to its enemies. This would ultimately lead to the deaths of a number of people who were very close to Von and his friends, who we introduced at the start of this story. In the face of yet more of their childhood friends being murdered, allegedly at the hands of their rivals from 63rd, the young men from O Block, with no guidance, support, and nothing better to do than seek revenge against those who had killed their friends, formed a new gang focused solely on get-backs, getting retribution and revenge for their friends whose lives had been taken. This is the birth of GetBackGang. Whilst Von had been sat in jail awaiting progress on the murder charge against him for killing Malcolm Stuckey, rival gangs from the surrounding areas were plotting attacks on the most beloved members from O Block, and soon lives would be lost. On July the 17th, 2016, Chino from O Block, real name Chirino Gatewood, is murdered in a Sunday morning shooting on the 5700 block of South Union, after a car allegedly pulled up with someone asking Chino where they could buy weed before opening fire, emptying the rest of the clip into his body on the ground, with Chino later dying in St. Bernard Hospital. There's been a great deal of debate online about what set specifically had something to do with this killing, but regardless of who was responsible, what we do know is that Chino from O Block was the brother of BJ, hence why he goes by the name Chino Mafia on Instagram. So here we have yet another person from O Block who's lost a relative and is likely burning for some kind of revenge. And sadly, the bloodshed for O Block would continue all the way through 2016, as Big A, the O Block hitter, who is apparently a feared member accompanying King Von to the K.I hit, is killed himself, allegedly by members associated with 63rd, being shot in the face at Sammy's Grill restaurant just across the street from O Block at around 3:10 AM. Big A was thought to be a big bounty for his opposition because of his alleged involvement with K.I.'s death, with him apparently even sporting the new nickname Ask K.I after her death, with it even being rumoured that one of the shooters that took out Big A is indeed a blood relative of K.I. At this point, O Block had already suffered a lot of losses in the streets, but the most devastating of all would come in 2017, when King Von's best friend and one of the most feared shooters in O Block, T-Roy, would lose his life. T-Roy, or Troy, was apparently deep in the streets. He had the word Savage tattooed on his neck and went by O Block Savage on social media, describing himself on video as a real shooter.
Shoot you, no problem. I will fucking shoot you. Yes, I will. So if you see me and ain't no shit, leave me the fuck alone. You don't know if I was on your ass, cause I ain't gonna get the motherfucking, looking at you and none of that shit. I'm just gonna scorn you dumbass. Scone, bitch.
Bosstop from O Block would later tell Fuchsia's TV in an interview that Troy was a real fearless demon.
Roy just different, you know what I'm saying? He was a real enforcer. Like Shorty was right, he was out here for real, you know? Shorty is a savage on he's another motherfucker that was fearless. Like he had no fears. Get back, gang!
So apparently T-Roy was truly putting in work in the war in the streets. Shortly after tweeting an angry face on Valentine's Day 2017, T-Roy, real name James Johnson, would travel to a sports casual activewear store, where some have said he might have been shopping for an outfit, while others have claimed that he was op shopping, i.e. lurking in a store that he knows his rivals frequent, hoping to catch and murder them. But the story goes that the person that T-Roy was looking for spotted him first and was quicker on the draw when they ultimately came face to face. Gunfire erupted inside of a store, with T-Roy unfortunately losing his life. Only a brief moment of surveillance video was captured and released, showing the moment that T-Roy was caught off guard in the store by a man and an accomplice. T-Roy would be shot in the chest, later dying at the Northwestern Memorial Hospital at the young age of 23. T-Roy was beloved on his block, with the most successful Chicago drill rappers at the time honouring him in tweets. He was mourned by Chief Keef, Lil Reese, Lil Durk, as well as O Block members like C Murder and King Von, who tributed him on Twitter with a caption that read, "Rest up T-Roy, real savage." This love was apparently reciprocated by T-Roy whilst he was still alive, because while King Von was locked up, T-Roy's whole Twitter page was dedicated to Von's freedom, with it still looking like this to this day, years after his death. While he was still alive, T-Roy would regularly post pictures of himself and King Von saying free his brother and right-hand man. Of course, King Von was still in jail when T-Roy was killed, with Von apparently being left broken-hearted, breaking down in his cell. Von would later go live and tell the story about what happened the day that T-Roy died and how Von prepared for vengeance.
Hey, what happened? I mean, they just killed T-Roy. Who? He what? Hey, I'm T-Roy. They just killed T-Roy. Oh, I got to break it down on King Dave. That shit. I couldn't help it. They hugging me. These some real niggas. You know what I'm saying? We grown ass men. hold on, boy, that's my best friend, boy. Somebody just killed my best friend while I'm in jail. I'm in that bitch finna go crazy. Oh, I'm in that bitch, don't know what's going on. I'm in that bitch getting that. I'm in that bitch getting that. If he get got, there ain't a lot of hope for a lot of niggas. Everybody, now you everybody dying, everybody in jail.
This is when it said that Von demanded revenge, and it was at this point that GetBackGang was formed. Tooka from 600 announced on Twitter that there was a lot to come, and blood relatives of T-Roy, HK, Zell, Munna, and Slutty would all be eager to see their brother avenged. Now, obviously, given T-Roy's fearsome reputation in the streets, after he died, the opposition was seen celebrating. FBG Duck went live with somebody talking about how they were happy they had gotten T-Roy out the way.
Look on them on here going crazy. They so happy. It's that funny film because I know folks know proud. They got him out the way. I know. I'm on live, G. Shut the fuck up. Till a nigga get killed. Till a nigga get spilled. Damn, they on here talking about what you think about T-Roy getting popped. Damn, T-Roy got popped? When that happened? When T-Roy get popped? Damn, somebody popping. Is he dead? Is he dead? Did he die? Damn, merchant, they pop T-Roy. It must don't be, it must ain't that important shit. It ain't all over the internet. I ain't see it. Shit.
Now, T-Roy was allegedly killed by a gang member by the name of TB, real name Terry Barry, with it being said that he'd been identified by a witness as the shooter in a photo lineup that circulated online. TB would also go on to tweet after the murder, Happy Valentine's Day, and saying that somebody got hit trying to do a hit. TB had actually been pictured numerous times near the murder location, as apparently this was an area that he was known to frequent. This is why it made sense for T-Roy to go there looking for him, but it would also end up, ironically, very close to where he would lose his life too. 2017 was a bloody year on the streets of Chicago, as we'd see the murder of numerous individuals, which many believe were part of GetBackGang's coordinated revenge campaign to avenge T-Roy. Members from O Block would tweet about an entire summer of getbacks, even suggesting that to them, killing feels like sex. One of the lives lost during this bloody summer was Poppie, real name Sheroid Rhyme. On the 16th of June 2017, he was killed on the 7000 block of South State, outside the L&P Foods candy warehouse, where he was literally working a shift. After being asked to help a customer load some items into their vehicle, Poppie was standing outside when apparently a gunman jumped out of a car with a ski mask on, executing Poppie with a gunshot to the head, then firing 2 more shots into his body. The supposed shooter in this attack was Heck, or HK, from O Block, with this incident himself apparently earning him the nickname Headshot King, hence the initials HK. But let me make it clear, this is nothing to be glamorized. The fact that people on the streets of America in 2017 are doing broad daylight headshot executions is something I struggle to wrap my head around. I mean, the insanity of this crime is driven home all the more by the shocking amateur video of the aftermath of this killing in scenes that are far too shocking to show you on YouTube, where traumatized members of the public scream in fear and grief in the aftermath of this terrible crime, frantically trying to help this man that's just been murdered at work in front of everybody. Poppie was mourned by people on his side of the war, people like TB, as well as FBG Duck's brother Brick, but it would only be a month and a day later, on the 17th of July 2017, that FBG Brick himself would suffer the same fate, being spotted by 3 individuals while standing on his block at 6300 South St. Lawrence Avenue. A number of men jumped out of a car and opened fire. FBG Brick, real name Jermaine Robinson, tried to run, and the man he was with, Coby, real name Stanley Jacoby Mack, was shot dead on sight, whilst Brick was chased into a gangway where he was sadly shot to death too. A lot of conflicting reports have circulated suggesting who was responsible for these killings, and since his arrest for the murder of FBG Duck, C Murder from O Block has also been accused of killing Brick, while many internet detectives believe that HK, the Headshot King, played a part in this slaying too. But regardless of who was involved, once again, there is nothing glamorous about this. The immediate aftermath of this horrendous act was also caught on video in scenes that are far too shocking to show you on YouTube. Once again, as traumatized members of the public stand by, as Brick's mother and FBG Duck arrive to the scene to witness and break down at the tragedy that has just unfolded in their community. After this, FBG Duck was pictured at the scene with his mother, and it was here that apparently something very important happened, because apparently this is when FBG Duck's mum told her son not to get revenge in the streets for his brother, but to instead focus on his music career and help his family in a better way.
And I was sitting on the ground, and him and my auntie was hugging me, and I was in my son's ear, and I was like, Duck, I need you. I don't need you doing nothing stupid. I say, Duck, I need you. And me telling that to my son, he went to that motherfucking studio and went crazy. That pain music out here From 17 up until he got signed. That was motivation from me. Because I could have been like, hell no, I want all them motherfuckers dead. I'm finna go kill some motherfuckers myself. Nah. See, what God got planned for you, can't nobody interfere with it. Because God already written it for your life to be like that.
Now, Duck and Brick's mother is a strong woman, but more on her later on in this story. A little while after the killing, FBG Duck goes live on Brick's Instagram account. Initially, Duck just looked at the camera looking somber, as many in the comments would type RIP Brick, telling Duck to get out of the city as soon as possible. But after 2 minutes of silence, Duck did begin to speak, and it was serious.
If you mention Brick or Coby, you gonna die.
Duck would later discuss the loss of his brother in a Vlad TV interview, refusing to say if he knew who was responsible.
So nobody knows what happened?
Like, even if I did, I wouldn't even speak on it.
A few days after the hit, O-Block members were pictured on their block in good spirits. And as time goes by, members of O-Block like E-Dog would tweet publicly that more get-backs are on the way. And this time, they were looking for their most coveted revenge, hoping to kill TB for the murder of T-Roy, with HK lurking in his Opps IG lives, asking where TB is at in the days leading up to the attack. Then on September the 26th, 2017, it's thought that HK caught TB sitting on a porch, only moments away from that very same store where T-Roy was killed, and according to the incident report, shooters pulled up in a stolen black car, hopping out, firing multiple shots, and hitting 2 people. TB, real name Terry Barry, was later pronounced dead at Northwestern Hospital. If HK did this killing as the internet has suggested, then this means that he personally avenged his brother, T-Roy. And it does make me wonder just how much satisfaction he truly would have gotten out of carrying out that murder. Because at the end of the day, all we have is another young man dead, and the cycle continues. Tweets around the time of TB's passing mourned him with the nickname T-Roy Slayer, seemingly confirming that TB was indeed the killer of T-Roy. And following TB's murder, of course, O-Block members would tweet about there being new op packs, saying that TB shouldn't have dissed their dead friends, and mocking him along with other deceased members. Bosstop from O-Block would later even tweet at him directly, saying that he begged for his life. These celebrations wouldn't continue for long, however, as the following month, on the 24th of November 2017, the supposed headshot king, Heck, or HK, real name Hakeem Murray, is confronted at O-Block and killed. He was shot numerous times in the body and pronounced dead at Northwestern Hospital. This is yet another tragedy. T-Roy's brother, who had just avenged his death, HK, would now be gone too, leaving behind 2 more grieving relatives in O-Block, Slutty and Zell. Of course, O-Block's rivals reacted positively to HK's death on social media. Meanwhile, he was being mourned by O-Block members like C-Murder, E-Dog, and even Lil Durk expressed his sadness at the news. But this war was far from over, and you can best believe that there was more bloodshed on the way after this incident. But what happened next surprised a lot of people, as one of the most feared members from O-Block, who had been out of action and off the streets for around 3.5 years at this point, would return to the war and play a massive role in assisting the killers from O-Block continue their bloody campaign for get-backs. You know who I'm talking about, King Von. In December 2017, King Von gets out of jail after beating all of his charges on that murder case. This was apparently the result of his co-defendant Big Mike initially attempting to put the blame on Von, admitting to the cops that he fired shots but suggesting that King Von was the killer who shot fatally, implicating himself in the crime but suggesting that he was going to cooperate with the police. Meanwhile, King Von kept his mouth shut entirely, not saying a word for the entire 3.5-year wait for trial. And once his day in court came, because he'd not said a word, Von was acquitted, and Big Mike, who admitted firing shots that night, was sentenced to 28 years, in the end refusing to implicate King Von in court at all, with Von even later dropping lyrics that suggested that a witness had been murdered in the process of him beating his case. So, while Von is celebrating being fresh home from jail, his main opposition are beginning to make waves in the music industry. In January 2018, FBG Dooski drops the very disrespectful track Computers. FBG Duck was dancing in the video, and the track itself was crammed with disses aimed at fallen members of O-Block on their side of the war. He dissed Big A, J Money, Odee, Chino, and more names associated with 600, a set affiliated with O-Block, that we're not going to focus on in this story for simplicity's sake. But it wasn't just Dooski looking to start trouble with his enemies. In February 2018, the music video for FBG Duck's smash hit drill song Slide releases. The chorus of the song is quite literally Duck inviting his ops to slide on him and fire shots in his direction. And the entire music video is basically just Duck rapping whilst toting a gun with a drum magazine surrounded by shooters, giving the camera an open invitation for anybody in Chicago to come and slide on him. Setting aside the sentiment of these lyrics, Duck was doing what his mother had told him to do when Brick passed away, focusing his energy on music rather than the streets. And sliding on a song rather than sliding on an actual drill really paid off for Duck. He allegedly signed a $2 million record deal off the back of Slide, but on the other hand, it is easy to overlook the real message of that song, which really is an open invitation for any of his enemies in the city to come and find him and kill him. Now, clearly not content with the opposition having some success in the music industry, since beating his murder case and coming home, King Von decided to use his interesting backstory to kickstart a career in drill music too. On May 27, 2018, dropping the song Beat That Body with fellow body beater THF Bezu, a track coming with insane lyrics where Von essentially cops to catching that body, beating it and saying that he plans to catch even more. Von's insane backstory would be irresistible to fans of Chicago drill music. But while FBG Duck had promised his mother to focus on music rather than sliding in the streets, the same couldn't really be said for King Von, who while beginning his career as a part-time rapper, didn't seem to have any plans on giving up his full-time role as an O-Block driller. And in the months following King Von's musical debut, killings would still play out on the street with King Von directly plugged into the action. The next unfortunate life to be lost in this story is a friend of FBG Duck's by the name of CantGetRight, aka Man Man. Duck is seen in a vlog hanging out with Man Man back in the day.
Tooka gang, man.
You got Facebook?
Yeah. Everything Tooka gang, man.
Interestingly, throughout this interview, CantGetRight is looking over his shoulder and looking out for Duck the entire time. Just goes to show you how unsafe you really are standing on these blocks. And this was in an interview where Duck shockingly says that he will kill anybody who disses him.
How come there's never any Chicago rappers really dissing FBG Duck? You know, they diss each other, but nobody really disses you for any...
But they gonna die.
Right.
The fuck? It's not for play. You diss me, I'm gonna kill you.
Unfortunately, on July the 16th, 2018, CantGetRight, aka Man Man, real name DeAndre Wallace, is waiting for food outside of a store on the 400 block of East 63rd Street. At some point, two people pulled up and waited outside. And when CantGetRight was spotted coming out of the store, two men ran up opening fire, killing both their target and an innocent bystander who was just there sweeping up outside of the restaurant. Once again, CCTV footage captured the shooting, and witnesses on the scene with their smartphones captured the aftermath in scenes that are far too shocking to show you on YouTube. Both men were pronounced dead at University of Chicago Hospital.
We are looking for the gunman who killed two men overnight. They were standing outside of a store in the city's Woodlawn neighborhood when someone started shooting. A 43-year-old man was shot in the chest. He died at the hospital. The other victim, a 22-year-old, also died. Police say the 22-year-old is a known gang member and was the intended target.
And to make matters worse, it's said that FBG Duck was shot the same day in an incident said to have taken place some hours later at a different location. Though for the record, some have suggested that Duck might have been shot in the same incident as CantGetRight, but may have only been found with injuries later on away from the scene, refusing to give an accurate report of his involvement. But regardless of what actually went down, it just goes to show you just how unsafe FBG Duck was staying in his city even after becoming such a successful rapper with a big deal. But in some ways, even more crazy than the crime itself was what went down on social media immediately afterwards, as King Von would go live on Instagram the same day as the double murder, alongside Memo600, apparently from Atlanta, with the sole purpose of mocking his deceased Opps. And I've got to tell you, this live is wild. It's truly a masterclass in self-snitching. They start off lighting a blunt, saying CantGetRight, and asking the viewers what just happened.
There you go. Can't get right. There you go. There you go. Right, cause I can't get right.
All right, everybody, not at one time. What just happened? What just happened?
A lot of glitches and everything.
Oh, you right there with your hand up. You tell me what happened. Who got killed? That's what I'm asking y'all. Who got killed, gang?
Yeah.
Can't get right, got killed.
Word. Can't get right, got
Hey, somebody show me a picture. I don't think I know y'all talking about. Is this can't get...
Is that can't get right? Hold on, is this him? Is this can't get right?
This ain't called snitching. I'm just trying to get verified.
From here, people start commenting in the chat, "Can't get up." And it seems like the O-Block hitters are so amused by this wordplay that they basically just confess to being involved in the murder on the spot.
Can't get up. Oh no.
They always make some shit before we do it. They beat us to it every time.
Y'all should start killing people. Cause y'all be doing this. You doing the man.
Oh, Steve, this nigga crazy.
After this, we see the crew say that it was 2 people down, and that they're gonna have to roll another one, whoever it is, seemingly unaware that the second person who was killed at that scene was just an innocent cleaner.
They said 2 down. Damn.
2 men, that nah, I can't take
David,
2.
they said it on both our lives.
I can barely take
David. 2 piece? I can take one. Somebody roll out the one.
Can't
Fuck
take
it.
it.
Whoever else got hit.
Real talk, these guys are so twisted, they even started to react mockingly to their Opps posting long tributes to their fallen friends on Instagram.
You see that paragraph under that picture, you know it's over.
Damn, best friend, you just told me to pop out.
I remember back in the days when you
just told me to pop out, best friend. Why the fuck you do me like this? You bogus as hell.
We ain't try to, bitch.
They
Shut
gonna
up.
be dissing the sound you. You know, you better not get caught like that.
From here, they keep mocking the Opps by specific block and saying that the FN gave him a fade like Boosie.
Steady taking losses. ST fucking L. Steady taking losses. Motherfucker gave him a fresh fade. Boosie boost.
They fucked up folks up.
Hey, why didn't they even put him on Front Street like he was even like that though?
Then Von comes back and says straight up that he must have known he was going to die and that no one will care he's gone anyway.
He probably knew he was gonna die.
Oh, it is.
I wish I could talk to him for that. Don't nobody even care about CantGetRight like that. I don't think they gonna slide like that. I don't think nothing finna happen because of that, so.
They finna waste the rest of their money on that.
We ain't even gonna act like nothing finna happen. Just y'all go in the house.
gotta pay for it.
Whoever ain't get shot, you lucky today. I'm finna go out. It's over.
Then they even started reliving the hit, saying that their Opps aren't even used to somebody jumping out of a car and firing a gun at them non-stop.
You know, used to somebody just popping out a cut for real, looking
at your ass.
Really on your ass. You just shit get the flap past your you just want to do like one of these because you acting like you fake tough. But when the bitch get the hitting you damn, this shit, I can't move.
Crump getting that there, little before they got you too.
So while Von is on live bragging about this hit from another city, back in O-Block, Muwop posted a picture with Durk telling the world that they are shooters. E-Dog from O-Block jumped on Twitter to say that the GetBack is not over. Von would later tweet about there being a new op pack suggesting that his brothers are the one that made it. Meanwhile, FBG Duck was reacting to the loss of his close friend and his own shooting on his story, saying that he was sick with grief. At this point, in my opinion, it is truly unbelievable that King Von really thought that he could manage and multitask his ties in both the streets and the music industry. By August, his song Problems is dropping on Lil Durk's Only the Family compilation album, with the whole song being about Von saying that he basically has hitters that are out catching bodies for him. The war was far from over, and we would soon see one of the most shocking and despicable acts of violence that the streets of Chicago had ever witnessed. Ironically, one where no one would even lose their life. But before that would happen, another senseless murder would set the stage. On October the 9th, 2018, Chicago rapper Dooski the Man, real name Ventrice Chris, will be shot in the head on the 5600 block of South Michigan Avenue, apparently the result of a drive-by shooting from a passing brown vehicle. Dooski was left laying dead on the street with pictures of his dead body circulating online. Members from 600 were celebrating Dooski's murder, while O-Block members would ironically be tweeting shush emojis. Anywho, Dooski was very close to another Chicago rapper by the name of Wooski, and they had dropped songs together like the February 2018 track Shooters. Apparently Wooski was a big target for GetBackGang, especially considering the disrespect that he showed his Opps on that diss song Computers at the start of the year. So from here, after the murder of Dooski, it appeared that GetBackGang members hatched a plan to shoot up his funeral because they knew Wooski would be there. But even more crazy, E-Dog and King Von would even FaceTime Wooski a few days before the funeral, telling him that they were going to surprise him.
This your big brother, yeah, you know what the fuck going on. That's your big brother, you know.
I wish I could say one of y'all was my boy. We got all goofies over there.
I ain't tell you what to do it tonight on
What's y'all off the courage? What made y'all do it tonight?
Listen, we gon' surprise.
You talking about tonight?
We gon' surprise, bro.
The bitches out for the free. But you talking about tonight?
Meanwhile, E-Dog is openly tweeting that another GetBack is coming and that they're planning to get rid of someone. And sure enough, on the afternoon of October the 22nd, at Dooski's funeral, a car turns up. People jump out of the car and start shooting into the crowd outside of the church indiscriminately. But apparently, they were looking for Wooski.
Police say they heard a barrage of shots just after noon. They were coming from across the street at a funeral for a local musician known as Dooski the Man was letting out. His real name is Ventrice Chris. He was killed by gunfire earlier this month. Witnesses today heard a couple of shots at first, apparently fired into the crowd. Then many more, several dozen more shots. Investigators have placed markers indicating where shell casings are located, but so far they have no one in custody.
Footage was captured in the immediate aftermath of the shooting, which again is probably probably too shocking to show you on YouTube, but it resembles a war zone. It's truly hard to believe that this kind of thing is going on American soil. 6 people were hit in this incident, and Wooski himself was shot in the head, miraculously surviving. With some initially believing that Wooski had passed, FBG Duck confirmed on IG Live that Wooski had indeed survived the attack. Von would tweet after the funeral shooting that they have won the beef, with Muwop retweeting and agreeing. From here, Von would go on to drop numerous lyrics over the course of his career, disrespecting and making fun of Wooski's shooting at this funeral. With Von's lyrics on the track back again, literally saying that he slides at funerals, shoots everyone outside, and Wooski is going to feel it. It's honestly insane to me that Von got away with saying stuff like this. But I guess it was that same insanity and boldness that attracted people to Von's music, with fans throwing on these murder anthems wondering, how could this monster still be on the streets and making music? Only days before Dooski's funeral, King Von had dropped the track War With Us, notable for lyrics that appear to take credit for killing the female driller K.I, a killing that Chicago police would later confirm that Von did. But it would be in December 2018 when King Von dropped his breakout anthem Crazy Story that this microphone murderer would break into the mainstream. Crazy Story is a storytelling song where King Von skillfully glides over the beat, using his raps to tell an entire Chicago drill story. The story involves him using a woman to lure a rich man in to rob them, with the story ending with Von shooting somebody. The most notable part of this song is at the end, where Von introduced the world to his regular catchphrase dissing his Opps on 63rd. And dissing 63rd or saying he's not from 63rd would become a huge part of King Von's brand going forward. He'd later be seen selling merch with a 63rd street sign with a giant cross over it. Now, Von's track Crazy Story was distributed by Lil Durk's OTF, Only the Family label. And Crazy Story was a huge success for both Von and Durk. It's got over 67 million views on YouTube today, and the song was such a hit Lil Durk jumped onto a remix or part 2 of the track, and with a winning formula, it seemed like King Von would only get more and more disrespectful and shocking in his songs going forward, dissing the deceased and his living Opps in his tracks, ultimately going back and forth with FBG Duck in his music and on social media, with their deadly street beef turning momentarily into more of a rap beef. But sadly, Von and Duck's feud wouldn't stay on wax for very long at all. On January the 9th, 2019, Memo600 and King Von dropped their collab track called Exposing Me, a song that's notable for its use of the same sample that ended up on fake New York blood CJ's Whoop-Dee and real UK blood Bando K's Slide. In the song, Von mentions Wooski getting shot in the head. He says that he's already put in so much work in the street that GetBackGang tell him to sit back, but he's still strapped. He says outright that he was a killer before rap. He says that he's smoking Tooka and a bunch of other names of deceased people more relevant to the 600 beef. Von even shouts out O-Block's DQ as his shooter, suggesting that he will soon be turning somebody else into a pack. Meanwhile, Memo600 disses FBG Duck's cousin Ruger and his deceased brother Scrap. He also disses Poppie, and saying that he smokes a number of other deceased Opps that we're not really going to go into in this story. In response to this song, just under a month later, on February the 4th, 2019, FBG Duck and Ruger reply with their own Exposing Me remix on that same banging beat. On this track, Ruger hints that SDL and 63rd made O-Block, a reference to the murder of Odee Perry, and suggesting that O-Block members still don't know who specifically was responsible, with Ruger going on to drop a lot of disses aimed at 600 members affiliated with O-Block. Meanwhile, FBG Duck says that he'll slide through O-Block, and Duck goes on to diss a whole bunch of other deceased Opps that are important to O-Block, like Sheroid, Odee, C-Thang, and J Money. But this beef didn't just stop on the songs, and it soon made its way to social media. In the same month of that song's release, FBG Duck would go live, claiming that him and King Von used to hang out as kids, but saying that Duck and his friends beat up King Von when he found out that he was playing both sides of the war, even going as far to suggest that King Von isn't even really from O-Block.
Y'all can play any of that shit y'all want to, from Chief Keef to, nigga, you can play Von, whoever the fuck you want. I don't give no fuck. As long as he ain't talking about smoking none of that, you know, all that goofy shit these niggas be talking about, and really be lame as hell. Used to get beat up after school on buses and shit, bro. Too good. Anybody, you want to fight, you want to do it, whatever, let's do it. I'm Shondell. Especially Von. He know he got his ass beat. Tooka. He got his ass beat on the bus. Your ass used to hang with us on Tooka. He flipped because your ass was scared. You're not even from O-Block, bro. Gray, his ass know he got his ass beat. Scary ass was playing both sides on Tooka.
Obviously, these disses were not going to make King Von too happy. But since the success of Crazy Story and coming under the wing of fellow successful Chicago rapper Lil Durk, Von was spending a lot of time away from Chicago and living the high life of a successful rap star. Rather than jumping in stolen cars and doing drills, Von was with Durk jumping off yachts, seemingly surrounded by people who knew his reputation very well.
Okay, Durk, it's on you now. This nigga Durk scared. This nigga scared. Okay, Vaughn. This nigga scared.
Yeah, I'm a bitch.
Look at Vaughn. Look at Vaun. He too scared.
Get wild, B-Roy.
They talking about Vaughn a bitch. He scared to jump. Man, they talking about you. They out here talking about you. All that savage and you scared to jump in the water.
And at a certain point you have to wonder, was Lil Durk being a good influence to King Von, taking him away from Chicago and the violence that he probably couldn't escape on his own? Or in reality, is King Von really a bad influence on Durk, bringing problems, violence and crime to wherever Durk is traveling with his legitimate music industry success? After all, Von was seen riding around with Lil Durk, toting the stick for any Opps that pull up, and joking about having more bodies than anybody that's there.
Fuck you talking about bitch ass nigga. Fuck y'all doing.
Go. And I got more bites in there, but cut this slow shit back up, man. You get excited in this bitch.
It's late.
It's over. Look, you know I'm coming out. Look.
And while it sounds like they were joking in that video, apparently things were serious. Because allegedly, on February the 5th, 2019, Durk and Von were both involved in an Atlanta armed robbery and shooting. But Durk and Von wouldn't be arrested for this for quite some time. And so in the months that followed, they would continue having a great time, having flexing battles on Instagram, fighting over who's got the most money and designer drip.
Hey, you saw me flexing earlier?
Nah, man, I was too busy.
Nickname Papa. Papa, no spinning, bitch ass nigga. Fuck you talking about? Hold on.
I was too busy. No.
Get your bitch ass on. What?
I just
what?
know.
What?
This damn shit. I don't play. I just married myself to death. And
fly shit.
That shit don't matter though. You over there with 20 on.
Huh?
You over there with $20.
Hey, I'm doing my thing. Don't try to count my don't count my pockets on phone number. Hey, what you on though? Damn. You do it too much. Them BBS's and them things.
That's a couple belts.
Hey, I'm saying.
$5.50 a piece.
You still flexing?
Niggas they got these Chanels right here.
Clearly he's not moved completely on from the streets to the success, because he's still talking about smoking dead Opps from back in the day.
I'm right here kicking with a little Mark. Dirty ass.
Damn.
Marky.
That shit, me so much for that yesterday, Slime. I never would sleep in the studio.
Lamar. Fuck Tooka, nigga. Y'all know what the fuck going on. I don't know fuck about this.
Unfortunately, soon the good times for Durk and Von would come to an end, with the cops picking both of them up in June 2019, with them appearing together in an explosive court appearance.
Lil Durk appeared in court where a judge ruled there was enough evidence for him to go to trial.
The rapper and Bennett listened to the evidence against them in court. Jovita APD says they used at least 5 cameras from local businesses, including this BP, as well as from the Varsity across the street, in order to build their case against Lil Durk and his co-defendant. On Friday, detectives from Atlanta and Chicago testified in the criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Derek Banks, and his co-defendant Devontae Bennett were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon, a person police say they knew.
He said his chain was snatched off his neck and he had $30,000 stolen from him, and they stole the vehicle he was driving.
Police say Banks was seen on tape shooting a gun.
And so, in what may end up as the blessing that saved Lil Durk from being exposed to much worse consequences, in the lead up to their supposed trial, Durk and Von are prevented from communicating with each other at all. Something that Durk and Von both famously discuss in separate No Jumper interviews. But at least it seemed that Durk was still able to help Von with his career from a distance. With the OTF-supported release of King Von's new project Grandson in September 2019, and while Durk and Von were both on bond for that case in Atlanta, FBG Duck would continue to prod his Opps, still living in Chicago. Mocking them on IG Live in November 2019.
Vaughn to get his wig split. Fuck you about. Vaughn know who to play with, and I'm not the nigga he gon' play with. But none of my Opps can't fucking rap. Lil Durk with all that auto-tune ass shit. Big sit down. That's how they want it. That's what they want to do. They want to put the money on my head. Y'all want to put your money on my head and try your luck, man. Because I got enough of this shit too, man.
But Duck wasn't just dissing them on social media, he was continuing to drop music. And in December 2019, FBG Duck would drop another classic song, Chicago Legends, a track paying homage to a lot of famous names who had lost their lives in the streets of Chicago. And in a move that surprised a lot of people, Duck even went as far as to pay respect to people on the other side of the beef who had lost their lives too, like Lil Durk's fallen cousin Dooski and close friend of Rondo No. 9 and Chief Keef, L.A. Capone. In a way, this could have been seen as something of an olive branch, showing the Opps' fallen members some respect, potentially a first step towards moving on from this never-ending beef. But as Von's career went from strength to strength, he would continue to diss Duck in his songs. In February 2020, Von would release his iconic track Took Her to the O, another storytelling song which this time would reference FBG Duck in a fictional scenario. In the track, he actually tells a story of picking up a woman who had missed calls in her phone from Duck. In the second verse, Von says that he confronted the girl about this, and that Duck came along picking up a brick. Von then says that he merched it on Brick, meaning that he swore on Brick's life, a reference to his deceased brother Brick, before throwing the brick at Von's car. And the song ends with Von saying that he shoots Duck dead, with Von and the woman laughing about it at the end. And this fictional FBG Duck murder was also reenacted with an actor in the music video. Now, FBG Duck would reply to King Von's musical murder fantasy in his own track, I'm From 63rd, the month after, in March 2020, rebuffing Von's lyrics in the song, suggesting that Lil Durk was only putting Von on in the music industry to annoy Duck, and flipping King Von's crazy story lyrics, saying that they're all made up and that the fans will believe anything. Duck goes on to say that he used to smack King Von back in the day, saying that he would shoot Von and that King Von's music is full of lies. And outside of the music, Duck would continue prodding King Von on IG Live, saying once again that he beat up Von back in the day,
beat your ass on the bus on Tookaville,
as well as telling Von that he is only famous because of Durk.
You niggas come up under Durk. When y'all get mixing as Lil Durk homies.
But here's where things get chilling, because as Duck would continue to mock Von in what appears to be a disrespectful but not an entirely death-threatening way, Von would begin to demonically comment on Duck's IG lives with names of people that he personally or GetBackGang are rumoured to have killed, whilst continuing to insult Duck throughout his entire life.
You on my dick the most. Yeah, out of everybody that's from over there, you on my dick the most. Fine. What is that? That's probably a fake page, but that's probably his real page. I think that's his real page.
Maybe at this point Duck thought that he was in a rap beef rather than a street beef with King Von, but clearly Von was not thinking the same. It's widely believed that King Von was using his musical career and income to fund his friends in O Block putting in work on the streets. A May 2020 vlog showed King Von returning to Parkway Gardens, giving his old friends wads of cash. With that in mind, it's almost insane that Duck went ahead with his July the 10th 2020 release, Dead Bitches, a song that is basically the complete opposite of Chicago Legends, a track where Duck labels a laundry list of deceased Opps from the opposing hood as dead bitches. And the lyrics to this song are chilling. Duck says he wasn't originally gonna diss the dead, but okay, he did it, proceeding to insult a whole bunch of deceased people from the opposing hood of O Block and beyond, including the names of some members of the affiliated crew 600. He first insults T-Roy and Odee, going on to diss J Money and the way he passed. He disses Lil Boo, a murdered 600 member. He mocks Sheroid, saying he was probably listening to his iPod when he passed. He mocks a number of respected people associated with 600, like Lil Steve, Baldy, and D-Thang. He insults a woman named Ketta, who apparently wasn't even involved in gang business, was just apparently an older woman from O Block that the younger members had a liking of who passed away for unrelated reasons. Duck had truly crossed every line there was with this song, but he was still fearless and assumed that he would be safe moving around his own city. He told DJ Vlad and countless other people that he would never move out of Chicago, and I guess Duck just always thought that he was one step ahead. But sadly in the end, his enemies would indeed catch up with him, ending his life in the most brutal and public fashion for the entire world to witness. On the morning of the 4th of August 2020, the members from O Block are chilling on their block, openly selling weed, or Tooka and Zaza as they call it, and discussing their operation to a camera recording live.
This is my dog on King David. On beat, that's my roadie.
Hold on, man, I got Zaza.
King David, nigga. Big bag of that shit.
Zaza, stupid, man.
Big grocery bag of that shit. You got in your bag, bitch. That man, you know that man. What you got over here, folks, on King David?
Everybody got Zaza, nigga. And I put a big boy out because of the big whipper. Nigga, really doink, nigga.
No, it is. That's all he do. We smoke. Big point, nigga, on BDN.
Yeah, motherfucker, I got.
That's my son on King David right there on BDN. That's my son on 4 now.
Look how much money I made today. Another 100K nigga just walked. I just came outside like 30 minutes ago. No exaggeration, I swear to God.
I remember, yeah,
25. 30 minutes. It's like 1,200. I still got 2 million friends.
We got that shit on us, boy.
It's clear that the guys from O Block had absolutely no worries about committing crimes on camera for all to see, and later that day we would see just how far they were willing to take this truly reckless attitude. 4 AM that same morning, FBG Duck wakes up in a bad mood, making a Facebook status suggesting that he was angry about the murder of his brother Brick, hoping that he bumps into the killer. Little did he know he would do just that very same day. Because on the afternoon of August the 4th, 2020, less than 1 month after the release of FBG Duck's incredibly disrespectful song Dead Bitches, Duck goes shopping in the Gold Coast, a place that's been described as the Rodeo Drive of Chicago, a luxury, high-end shopping district and a high-profile tourist area. And it was here that FBG Duck must have been located by his enemies, because while he's shopping, 2 vehicles end up here 30 minutes away from O Block, arriving directly outside where Duck is shopping. At about 4:37 p.m, Duck is confronted outside of the Dolce & Gabbana store by around 4 masked individuals who hop out of the car, opening fire. Duck pulls a gun and tries to return fire, but it jams, falling to the ground along with Duck himself as bullet after bullet is fired into his body. Duck is shot numerous times, with some outlets even reporting that he could have been shot as many as 38 times. And he's left to die there by the shooters, who immediately flee the scene in their cars. A man and a woman that were standing with Duck at the time of the shooting are both injured but luckily survive. At this point, scared and confused members of the public begin to crowd around Duck's body, with some even videotaping the aftermath of this terrible crime. Eventually, a 12-minute video is uploaded in its entirety, depicting the aftermath of that incident, where Duck lays there on the ground for an extended period of time fighting for his life. This video is far too shocking to show you on YouTube, but once again, it really drives home just how much destruction these killers were so willing to inflict on the streets that they live in and upon the fellow citizens who live there alongside them. Duck's mother would later claim that the police actually stopped the ambulances getting through, preventing Duck from receiving medical attention in the adequate time frame.
They even blocked the ambulance off from getting to him. See, that's what they don't want the world to know. But I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna get justice for my son.
After Duck's killing, this brazen, broad daylight shooting made international news, with reporters comparing the killing to the slaying of Chicago mob bosses back in the 30s.
On August 4th, 2020, it looked like an old-time outfit attack here on Chicago's Oak Street. 2 attack cars, 4 shooters, and a hail of bullets. But the target wasn't a 1930s gangster, he was a new millennium rapper, FBG Duck.
Considering how publicly this murder was carried out, there was an insane amount of media attention around Duck's death. And according to his own mother, Duck had been reported dead on the news before she had even had an opportunity to identify her son's body.
The news actually announced he was dead before I can even go to the hospital.
But even more chilling than that is the fact that Duck's mother witnessed people finding out about the news on the street and clapping in joy.
Somebody actually clapped in the crowd when they pronounced my son being deceased. I hit the floor. I couldn't believe it.
Adding even further insult to Duck's family in this horrible time, the mayor of Chicago came out with a statement saying that Duck fancied himself as a rapper, but was really just a gangster. Clearly not aware of the work that Duck was doing to improve his life, or the pledge that he'd made his mother after his brother's death to focus on the music rather than the streets. Now, people made a lot of the fact that this happened in such an upscale and upmarket part of Chicago, far from the rundown hoods where this beef supposedly originated from. One article spoke of Duck bringing a street fight between the have-nots into turf controlled by the haves, suggesting that these drill rappers are so-called have-nots that usually just kill each other on the south side of the city where nobody cares. Going on to say that these killings are being done for clout, and comparing all of the white people standing on the street watching Duck die to the movie Hotel Rwanda, and going on to say that because of the socio-economic implications of Duck dying in this way, in this location, meant that there would be no way that his killers would evade justice. This is something that Duck's own mother once again echoed in a Vlad TV interview.
They want justice for my son just as well as anybody else because they feel they're not safe. If this can happen down here...
Duck's mother also vowed to get justice for her son.
I want them prosecuted. If they dead, they're not gonna do nothing.
But for over a year, there was no justice, as Duck's killers evaded all consequences for what they had done. But even more shocking than that, they weren't quiet about it either, running free in the streets and on social media, soaking up every single drip of clout that they could just for being involved in this horrific crime. It's no coincidence that following the murder of FBG Duck, that the cops had several cars watching over O Block. They were apparently there to stop retaliation attacks, with warnings being issued in the local community that young people should stay off the streets because bullets are about to fly. The cops knew where the bullets that had killed Duck had been sent from, and it was a safe bet that some may be sent back in that direction soon after. But the thing is, building the actual case to catch the people that killed Duck would take some time. But fortunately, those who were involved in the crime would begin dropping crumbs and clues from the very moment that they got back from the hit. The very day that FBG Duck is killed, C-Murder from O Block posts a picture of himself to Instagram doing the GD killer hand sign with the caption "Anyway GDK," a reference to a King Von lyric. Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, soon after Duck's killing, Lil Durk went live on Instagram whilst getting off of a private jet. He didn't really say anything, but the comments are crammed with people mentioning that FBG Duck was just murdered. Of course, Durk was conveniently out of Chicago whilst this happened, something he had made publicly clear on Twitter only hours before the hit took place, with Lil Reese also sliding in on the alibi too. Now, a lot of people speculated that Lil Durk going live so soon after Duck's murder was a calculated move to show the world and the authorities that he was indeed far away from the crime when it happened, the perfect alibi. But on the flip side, Durk would also go on to tweet "Rest in peace Dooski," his cousin, only an hour and a half after Duck was killed. So clearly, Duck's passing meant something to him. And the day after Duck's death, King Von would release his song with Lil Durk, All These N-Words. That track doesn't have any specific lyrics pertaining to Duck's death, but the timing can't be ignored, and of course it's filled with King Von rapping about having bodies from way back. The fact that they went ahead and still released this in spite of what was going on just goes to show you there were really no plans for O-Block or their affiliates to keep quiet after this event had played out. And the same day that that song drops, Memo600 is seen smoking a blunt on IG Live, whilst all the comments ask if it's Duck that he is smoking. And he confirms this by showing off a custom Duck Cali pack. But he wasn't the only one showing disrespect. 600 Breezy dropped a snippet of an FBG Duck diss song, pondering publicly whether he should still release it even though Duck is dead. But it was exactly 10 days after Duck's murder, on August the 14th, 2020, when King Von is seen in Atlanta at the Icebox Jewelers, picking up a number of diamond-encrusted custom O-Block chains for his goons, even posting a handy list of names who would receive these chains next to it. Now, I don't know what was engraved on every single one of these personalized chains, but taking a closer look at the backside of Von's personal extra large O-Block chain, we can see what this is really about, because it's engraved with the names of 9 fallen O-Block associates, along with a crosshair, the number 64, the old name for O-Block Wick City, and the tagline O-Block for life. Von himself had this extra large O-Block chain, whilst the smaller ones were distributed to other members. This includes several people who are now in custody for the murder of FBG Duck. People like C-Murder and Muwop, who was seen flexing his new chain extensively on IG. And we saw the likes of DQ being gifted his chain personally by King Von. Now, for the record, Von had been planning to give his hitters chains for several months before the murder of FBG Duck, even being seen on social media consulting with his crew about the chains all the way back in May 2020.
You hear me, young?
Yeah.
White gold, yellow gold, or rose gold?
I say white.
Yeah,
white gold. You know how that shit by me, white.
And even custom designing them at Icebox before Duck's passing. But it is slightly curious that we didn't start seeing the chains getting shown off until 10 days after Duck's murder, when a full video about them was released on Icebox's YouTube channel, where we see King Von basically explaining that specific chains are to be customized for specific getbacks, with the vengeance of Sheroid apparently corresponding to a Sheroid squad chain.
One just put this 1992 to 2012.
Okay, who's that one for?
Sheroid squad.
I want to know the name.
Yeah, I know. C-Murder.
And then you just, how do you spell this?
C-H-E-N-O. Oh, right here.
So right here, Ivan, we're just adding C-H-E-N-O.
Who all got rose gold? I think Muwop. I think Smooth want rose gold.
So with his team fully iced out, his biggest rival out the way, and arguably the biggest getback of his career under his belt, it would really make sense for Von to get as far away as possible from the streets and focus on his music career. And the day after taking delivery of those O-Block chains, Von would be back on Instagram teasing new music. But funnily enough, the fans seemed more interested in the getbacks than the songs, with the comments going crazy mentioning the death of Duck. And Von would eventually even have to tell people to stop talking about it, as the comments got so clogged with people mentioning Duck.
Man, that motherfucker put anything about some big Clout FB, anything on this bitch. I'm striking niggas out like baseball, come on.
But Von wouldn't avoid the topic for long. As the days go by, him and his team would lean into social media, getting more and more used to the fans constantly bringing up the killing of Duck. A couple days later, Von was on IG Live with DQ in a store, unable to help himself but mock the Opps just a little bit, telling his IG Lives that there ain't no more FBG.
All that dissing, or saying something, or even acting like y'all with some shit that y'all know for sure ain't with, I'ma smash that on y'all, I ain't gonna play like that. See, and we know y'all ain't gangsta, y'all on the internet. We know y'all ain't gangsta, y'all ain't trying to do that. Ain't no more FB. Ain't that right, Big DQ? Ain't that right? Yeah, that I'm talking about. Goofy as hell.
A couple of days after that, Von is on O Block with Gleesh telling the Opps to pull up.
Tell her what we doing today, Gleesh. We on the block.
Get it on, we on the block. Look, pull up. Y'all know when he come out, it's a fucking move. We pull up in a lot. On BD, just pull up in a lot.
2 days later, August the 22nd, an O Block Woney goes live saying that he's smoking on Duck and telling his viewers that you can get hit anywhere, any place, and that they're still dangerous.
I smoked the wood to the duck. Smoked the wood to the duck, you know? Shit can happen to you. You could die. Whatever can happen, like, you know, anywhere, you know, like, it could just happen, like, you know, we dangerous, like, we pull up on you and shit, like, you know, like your taco. I'm on house arrest, but this shit can happen, like, it can happen, like, whenever, wherever. She thinks somewhere in traffic.
The day after that, Kenny Mac posts up on Instagram a picture with C-Murder saying that they're killers, and a few days later on August the 28th, C-Thang would go live to an audience of around 10 people, quickly getting spooked by the fact that the only people that showed up were fans saying that he killed Duck. But one of the most famous incidents of self-snitching in this story would surface on August the 31st, 2020, when an interview is released with Bosstop from O Block speaking on camera. This interview is him surrounded by members on the block, speaking about what things were like before the fame and discussing his relationships with King Von and Lil Durk. Thing is, if you're going to take a vlogger into a gang stronghold, you might want to be a bit more careful about what you say and where you say it, because this interview with Bosstop contained a number of very incriminating details. First thing they do is walk onto the block telling the camera that their homies are smoking brick and Duck.
We got phone rolling up brick over there.
Yeah.
Phone rolling up brick over there. Phone putting the duck out right there. Oh, we got a lot of chicken there.
Hell, if you look at the comments on this video, you will see that there is a bunch of people pointing out the fact that there is a car the same model as the one that was used in the murder of FBG Duck parked right next to them. Sure, it could be a coincidence, but it does make you wonder why only less than a month after a gangland murder in the middle of a busy street that these guys are inviting vloggers to their block to record them. And so it was in this very interview that Bosstop from O Block would post up in front of the camera telling the vlogger that he is willing to answer anything. Anything, you say?
The next question was going to ask me. I'm asking any question. Any question? Any question? I'm answering that shit.
Well, naturally, he is eventually asked about FBG Duck, and his answer is really something. Bosstop immediately says that Duck shouldn't have dissed their dead homie T-Roy, before catching himself and then shutting up.
FBG Duck, you know, any thoughts on him? Like, did you know him? Who, Duck? Did you know him before, like everything?
Duck like that. I don't know. On game. All I know, don't say that shit about Troy, or rest in peace, Duck.
But if that wasn't enough, a flustered Bosstop then redirects the camera's attention to the hitters standing behind them, one of whom does a nose-wiping motion.
Okay, so you got anything about FBG Duck? It's, you know what I'm saying? You know, don't say shit about Troy. That's it. Don't say shit about Troy. Get that guy over there. Whatever, you know me. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know I know that. Stop playing. Stop playing. Don't do that. Stop playing. Talk to somebody else today.
Bosstop would then go on to call his O Block chain a trophy.
This shit ain't no motherfucking chain. This like, it's like a trophy to this our brother, you know? This shit more than the chain. This shit way more than the chain. This shit our lifestyle.
Now, this most incriminating section of the interview was removed from that video around a year before the arrest took place. But that particular clip was captured and still circulates to this day. And even though that part's edited out, all of the original comments remain, with many long before the arrests, pointing out that Bosstop indeed did point directly at one of Duck's shooters. But it would be unfair for Bosstop to take the blame for all of the self-snitching, because as the days go by, O Block members continue to appear on camera and on social media, leaking incriminating info that appeared to tie them to the crime. On September the 2nd, Big Woney goes live on Instagram once again, this time arguing with one of FBG Duck's friends, FBG Measle, with Woney bragging that they can't diss O Block because O Block killed their ops.
Why diss niggas that's killing y'all? Nah, my homies stood over your homies. It's different.
Don't say get stood over.
Who?
Goofy. Niggas red. You keep mentioning, motherfucker, keep mentioning Duck name, brick name.
Fuck Duck, what the fuck? I'm finna grab the Duck joints. I don't want to have that come out.
The day after that, C-Thang and Big Woney are seen on IG Live again, this time showing themselves on FaceTime with fellow accused murderer and drill musician from Jacksonville, KSoo.
Hey, man. Hey, for who you smoking on, man? I'm on live right now, man. Who you smoking on, man? Who you smoking on from the rack, man? What you say? What you say? They can't hear you, folk.
Duck.
Duck.
You smoking that duck, quack, quack? Duck, quack, quack? You say you smoking that duck, my boy KSoo smoking that duck, baby.
Yeah, so that was KSoo from Jacksonville saying that he's smoking on Duck too. It's really crazy to see how Woney and C-Thang just could not resist the clout that was on offer in that moment. They were on a phone call with another killer and they just couldn't help but brag about the killings that they had done themselves. They truly wanted the whole world, state to know that they killed Duck. Only a few days after that, King Von is seen on IG Live doing a goddamn impression of FBG Duck.
Think you finna say, it's a real nigga party, you cannot get in. Busting out the zins, pulling up the means. I can shake your hand. No, I'm not your friend.
Let me hear that boy like that. Let me go. He'll slide in.
Shit weak.
No. It's a gangster party in this belly and this bitch made it out the trenches. But once King Von
whatever he was saying. Said what he said.
Did your push up this morning?
No. But it wasn't just the O'Blockians going live, because on September the 10th, FBG Measle goes live himself. Of course, the comments are immediately crammed with people dissing Duck, and Measle begins to respond by dissing deceased O-Block members like HK and T-Roy.
Fuck hat, bitch. Troy, suck my dick, Troy.
At a certain point, Measle throws on FBG Duck's mad disrespectful anthem Dead Bitches and continues to diss his ops.
Big Clout went nowhere, nigga. Fuck the O, fuck T-Roy, fuck Baldy, fuck all Troy, nigga. I'm Measle. We stay smoking Troy little ass. On phone him his little ass. Got smoke that big ass shirt off.
But here's where things get a little strange. Because at a certain point, an account that appears to belong to Zell Munna, an alleged relative of HK and T-Roy, begins commenting on this live asking where Measle is. But here's the thing, it was unclear whether or not this was really Zell Munna from O-Block, because his official Instagram page had an underscore rather than a full stop. In fact, even the real Zell with the underscore under his name chimed in to try and let everybody know that there was a fake account impersonating him commenting on this page. And it does make you wonder, who was the fake Zell with the full stop in their name? Was it really just Zell on a burner account trolling? Could it be one of the ops trying to draw Zell out? Or could it be the feds trying to seed information that they already knew? Well, perhaps we'll never know. But what happened next is crazy, because this fake Zell account with a full stop in the name posts a flurry of comments on Measle's live, seemingly taking full responsibility for the murder of Duck. One comment says, "Fuck Duck, we won." Measle, seemingly unaware that this is a potentially fake account commenting, begins to say that he's gonna beat Zell's ass.
Hey Zell, shorty, I will beat your ass on my dad, you a bitch.
But from here, the fake Zell with a full stop in his name releases a barrage of comments, saying, "Ask Duck about us," followed by duck emojis. He says, "Ask Duck about that FN," which is a manufacturer of guns. He says Duck couldn't take that FN. He then says, "Ask your homie about them blue tips," which is referring to a type of bullet that the FN guns take, going on to say that the entire op block is dead. And at a certain point, people begin to comment saying that Zell is losing his mind and that he should know better than comment these things. Other accounts clock onto the fact that this is a fake Zell commenting, but at a certain point, other fake accounts begin to pop up in the comments, impersonating other O-Block members saying incriminating things. Things like C-Murder is going to kill Measle. Clearly Measle doesn't get the message about all the fake ops that are in his comments, and he begins to diss Zell once again.
Hey, fuck T-Roy, you don't do them dead, bitch. Hey, boy, Zell Munna, boy. You a bitch, boy. You a hoe, boy. You steady taking pictures in the O.
From here, a whole bunch of similar fake accounts impersonating O-Block members, not even very well, begin to appear, including this one with the literal name Real O-Block Member 600, an account that no longer exists on Instagram. This account would extensively diss Duck too, and beginning to ask for Measle's location, just like the fake Zell account did at the start. At this point, people begin to speculate in the comments that all these fake accounts had been made by the real Zell, who was just trying to cover his tracks. And from here, more accounts pop up asking very police-like questions, even referring to FBG Duck by his government name. From here, people begin to comment that the feds are active in the chat, and eventually the live ends, leaving me with a whole lot of questions. Now, we're probably never going to know who was really behind some of the comments on this live, but let's just imagine for a minute that none of them were the real Zell. Just imagine how scary that would be if you were involved in a murder that everybody knew you did, and people were literally online pretending to be you, boasting about that murder in a way that's so convincing your ops can't can't really tell the difference. I mean, that must have been truly terrifying for Zell. A few days after this, BJ, DQ, and Zell go live on O'Block, and one of the top comments on this says that these guys are dropping new clues about this murder on a daily basis. But it was on September the 16th, 2020 that things got really silly, as King Von himself begins to tweet publicly suggesting that him and FBG Duck had a song together, telling his followers on Twitter that they had settled their differences before he passed, which was a little bit hard to believe considering their history. Also, around the same time, Von had been spotted commenting on IG calling famous Dex a homophobic slur in response to Dex saying that he was emotional about Duck's passing. Frankly, I didn't believe a word of Von's tweets, and I don't think you should either. But it really just seemed like Von was having a good time without a care in the world, assuming that he or his team would never be implicated in the murder of Duck. In fact, during this period, Von and his team were having a great time, with Von flying out several O-Block members to Atlanta to hang out with him and enjoy his success. Whilst in Atlanta, Muwop and C-Murder were seen filming a music video with Von, ironically in a fake jailhouse setup.
How you looking, Muwop? They talking about murder whole ass. The big low on here, he say yo whole ass.
What? He want y'all to hoop real quick.
See, Murder got boys. Come on, Muwop, man. Go on here, Muwop.
BJ is also seen hanging out with Von and other members in Atlanta, and in one spectacular display of self-snitching, Von goes live whilst getting off of a plane with Muwop, where he openly tells a fan that Muwop has loads of bodies.
This Muwop, he crazy. He got all type of bodies. No, just player. Come on, Muwop. My mama, come on. My bodyguard. Come on, bodyguard.
Meanwhile, back on O-Block, after that Bosstop interview where he quite literally pointed at C-Thang after saying that Duck was murdered for dissing T-Roy, C-Thang would continue to go live on IG. And of course, everybody is in his comments saying that Bosstop spilled the beans about O-Block killing Duck and letting him know personally that the feds do know that C-Thang was involved. In fact, at one point when responding to a fan who asked who was on the block, C-Thang slips up and nearly says all of the killers, quickly correcting himself and saying members.
Shit, the whole fucking block. All the members.
He would go on to deny ever knowing Duck.
What you think about Duck? I don't know. I ain't know him.
And later, he would say that he has a song coming that is no cap, meaning that the song contains no lies and everything that he says on it is true.
Ain't no cap in that shit neither, boy.
Now, despite not getting arrested, these guys would be fools to think that the feds weren't at least paying some attention. And so, on October the 7th, 2020, the FBI are seen patrolling through O-Block, with C-Murder himself deciding to film them.
Oh my mama, bro. Oh my mama, they on the block, Scud. They on the motherfucking block, Scud. What the fuck? Is they coming to my car? Don't come to my car. Oh yeah, that's DA FBI on Dave. And here come motherfucking Parkway security telling on everybody.
In fact, C-Murder actually recorded the FBI walking through O-Block whilst yelling "fuck Brick."
Fuck Brick. I got you.
Hold that motherfucker up.
What that bitch say?
Hold that motherfucker up.
Boy, let us see that thing, boy.
So it's clear that the feds are at least surveilling O-Block, but no arrests have been made at this point. But funnily enough, King Von seems to have his own surveillance crew in O-Block. A camera crew following him around and making documentaries about him and his crew as his career continues to rise.
I go back to Parkway. You know, I see all my old, friends, all the guys out there. All the guys' mamas and shit. Go see everybody like.
And away from the cameras in the music, King Von would continue to diss FBG Duck at every single opportunity. His October release, Welcome to O-Block, contained numerous disses aimed at Duck, and while on a press run for this new release, Von would even check in with DJ Akademiks for an on-the-phone interview. And it was in this interview where DJ Akademiks presses King Von about his earlier tweets, suggesting that Von was lying when he said that him and Duck had squashed their beef, with Von denying that he died, suggesting that somebody had deleted the DMs between them.
You know you and Duck didn't make up. His mom came out and said, you and Duck.
Gang, how you gonna tell? See, this ain't right. Gang, how y'all gonna say that?
His mom said that would never happen.
His mama was not there. I ain't never met his mama. I don't know his mama. You see what I'm saying? I've talked to him. You see what I'm saying? And then they deleted all our DMs, so I can't show them the...
Now, from here, a flustered Von tries to sidestep his past beef with Duck, saying that they just went to school together.
It ain't. They just make it look real crazy to y'all. These just really people we all went to school with.
That shit do look crazy to me. I kid you not.
That's how they make it. But then,
like, yo,
you gotta understand, like you said, they right there down the street. We went to school. It ain't that serious, And then, it's just that we ain't cool no more. It was, but it ain't that serious. Like, it's to the point where Let's sit down, let's talk about it. It ain't, fuck that shit. And both of us rapping, we can figure some shit out. We need to stop the shit, all the violence, all the shit, that shit. We got a voice, you see what I'm saying? Like, if we tell Chicago far back, tell Chicago far back.
And eventually, Akademiks asks Von how he felt when he found out about Duck's death. And at this point, I kid you not, King Von begins to slowly eat cereal out of the box, telling Akademiks that he was hurt by Duck's death in an incredibly unconvincing manner.
Were you saddened by the news that he was murdered then?
Man, that shit hurt. I ain't even go to sleep at night. I can't believe that shit.
At this point, King Von couldn't even continue keeping a straight face. So he tells Akademiks to hold on and points the camera away from his face, when for a moment we hear what sounds like King Von and his homie BJ just straight up sniggering and laughing. And even when Von gets his composure and comes back on camera, he slips up because for a very brief moment we see BJ in the back of the car laughing uncontrollably.
Can't believe that shit. Hold on, man. Oh, let's talk about some other shit though.
Not a great look, guys. Not a great look. But in the end, none of that would really matter, because no one could have expected what would happen next, as King Von, the chosen one, the head honcho of his crew of fearless hitters, would end up being let down by his crew and himself, losing his life in the streets, but in a whole different state, weirdly, for reasons completely unrelated to this long, bloody war.
APD says the gun battle took place in 3 different spots near Trinity Avenue, where a total of 6 people were shot, 3 have died. One of them, a rapper Davon Bennett, who goes by the stage name King Von. GBI says King Von and a group of men left Opium nightclub and went to Monaco Hookah Lounge early Friday morning. Investigators say after they arrived, 2 men approached the group in the parking lot and an argument ensued. From there, shots were fired.
On November the 6th, 2020, 3 months and 2 days after FBG Duck was murdered, and only 4 days after tweeting that a couple of people want to kill him with a yawning face, King Von is playing a show at Atlanta's Opium nightclub, where he was seen in good spirits, traveling in Atlanta with a number of big name hitters from O Block, including Muwop, Louie, Slutty, BJ, and Bosstop. You would have thought that this man, with his reputation and those around him, would be completely untouchable. But perhaps it was that kind of thinking that led to this situation to begin with, because on the way home from that performance, King Von and his crew drive to the Monaco Hookah Lounge, after apparently getting the location of Quando Rondo, an affiliate of the rapper NBA Youngboy, who Von had been having a feud with online. This was nothing to do with the street beef in Chicago. This was a rap beef, and one that I believe Von was probably leaning into because he thought it would help his career if he was seen pressuring another rapper. So after finding out that a music industry rival was nearby, Von's car abruptly changed direction, headed to that hookah lounge, which led to Von accidentally losing the professional security team that had apparently been looking after him earlier that day. Apparently Von wasn't being entirely open with his crew about what he was looking for or trying to do at this point. Him and his team arrived to the hookah lounge lurking around the area for quite some time when somebody informed him that rapper Quando Rondo was in a nearby car. Von immediately approached, and in an insane scene that was captured on CCTV but I won't show you on YouTube, without provocation, Von begins to physically attack Quando Rondo, beating him with his bare hands and swinging enormous haymakers. Thing is though, Von clearly hadn't considered the possibility that his music industry ops might be rolling as deep as he does in the streets, because while he's punching Quando Rondo, a man named Lil Tim, an apparent shooter from Quando's entourage, saw Von beating up Quando Rondo and immediately opens fire. Von takes a death grip on Quando Rondo, refusing to let go, as Quando desperately tries to shake him off as he begins to bleed out from the gunshot wounds. And at this point it looks like Muwop steps in, swinging an enormous uppercut at Quando Rondo, knocking him out and releasing Von from his grip. At this point, Von's team gets him into a car, rushing him to a nearby hospital where he did not survive. But even more crazy than that, at some point during all of this chaos, 2 of the other O Block members that are there pull guns and are confronted by nearby police officers who pull their own guns, opening fire, killing Slutty, Coby, who is related to Zell, HK, and T-Roy, who we've mentioned earlier, and wounding O-Block Louis, who is shot in the head but miraculously survives, with him even being well enough by May 2021 to appear in an IG Live with Muwop. I can't imagine how hard this loss must have been for Zell Munna, who had now lost 3 relatives as part of this story. He would mourn the loss of Slutty and Von on Instagram, as well as wishing Louis a get well. Meanwhile, people from the opposing side paid tribute to a number of names of people King Von was rumoured to have killed in an apparent celebration of his death. Wooski tweeted "Anyway BDK," flipping Von's earlier lyric where he referenced Wooski needing medicine after being shot at the funeral. Meanwhile, other Opps in the city claimed to be smoking Von on social media.
We smoking Von out the P today.
And pretty much anybody who Von had had a problem in the past with in Chicago was jumping in joy at the news of him passing. Unfortunately, it appeared that one of the people closest to Von, his mentor, collaborator, and co-defendant Lil Durk, didn't actually know that this had happened. Apparently only finding out about Von's passing via comments on his own Instagram Live, whilst he was ironically singing along to his revenge anthem Back in Blood, literally rapping along lyrics about King Von shooting people as he discovered the news that King Von himself had been shot dead. As viewers pile into the comments to let Lil Durk know, Lil Durk would go on to tribute the 3 O-Block members who were injured in this incident. Muwop would mourn the loss of King Von on Instagram, and frankly, the death of King Von would represent a big shift in the circumstances for O-Block members and their affiliates. Von had been the one leading the charge, funding the war, and providing money and clout for up-and-coming O-Block members. Von was really the meal ticket out of O-Block. He'd been taking these guys to Atlanta, taking them out the hood, showing them a different life. But ironically, his go anywhere, kill anyone attitude is what got him killed and left O-Block without leadership or money. As a result, the remaining orphans of O-Block would continue to go live and try and show strength after Von's passing, with the tone of these lives being very much, "We're still here and fuck the Opps." On November the 24th, 2020, C-Murder from O-Block goes live, letting the world know that he's still a GD killer and that GetBackGang have something crazy coming, reminding the world that O-Block run the city.
Bitch, we still GDK, we dropping rates for shit. Wait till y'all see what that GetBackGang got in store. Oh, my mama, folks looking at the crazy. Ask Siri who run the city, they gonna tell you O-Block. GetBackGang, long way ahead. That O-Block ain't never die. That shit around our neck, that shit'll never die.
At one point, C-Murder's son even wants to take over his daddy's life, with C-Murder stopping him from looking, informing him that there are gangbangers in the chat.
I wanna see it.
Watch out.
Let me see the phone.
Watch out, go
It's
for the
my life.
game.
It's my life, dude. I'm taking over. You ain't nobody.
Nah, they out here gangbanging, dude. Watch out.
Huh?
They out here gangbanging.
I kind of just thought that was an important moment to put in there, because it's ironic that someone like C-Murder that probably didn't have the benefit of somebody older keeping him away from the gang lifestyle would at least have the good foresight to try and do the same for his son whilst he was still free. Really, there's not much other positivity to be found in this live, as C-Murder goes on to say free little Tim and that he hopes he dies.
Free little Tim. They didn't really wish jail on nobody. I wish everybody get out of jail. But after they get out, I'd be fucked. I wish they die. I wish everything else happened to their ass. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Muwop was also going live around this time, showing people that he's still outside, but he's clearly not that safe in the streets, as he is seen on live quite literally running to the store from O-Block and back, all the while puffing up his chest saying that if anybody plays him, he's shooting them, and telling the Opps to come and get a free kill while he's live.
That motherfucker play with me, he on O is busting, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, on O, motherfuckers play with me is busting. I ain't no bitch, none of that. On O, motherfuckers play with me is busting. And y'all see I'm on live too. I ain't gonna lie, y'all motherfuckers know my low. Right now, motherfuckers know my low. And I ain't no bitch. And I ain't running none of that shit. Y'all see me coming out right now. Y'all see me coming out right now, motherfuckers play. Motherfuckers show. That's how y'all know my Opps ain't no shit in my city. My Opps ain't no shit in my city. All my Opps dead. I just went to the store and no Op pull up on me and shit. Free motherfucking kill.
Of course, the comments are flooded with people saying that he's a killer, but anywho, with the O-Block meal ticket dearly departed, it would come time for the other shooters on O-Block to try and convert their street stories into money and clout through music. On December the 18th, 2020, Muwop would drop his song Vet, a track that's all about Muwop having been in the streets for so long he is literally like a war veteran, as well as lyrics where he says that he shoots people in the chest, saying he's a savage like King Von, saying he ain't ducking from the beef, followed by a lyric about leaving people dead in the street. And remember earlier on when C-Thang said on his live that he was soon to be releasing a song where everything that he says in it is all facts and no cap.
Ain't no cap in that shit neither, boy.
Well, on December the 23rd, 2020, C-Thang and Zell would release that song, a track called Jump Out. And this is a wall-to-wall self-snitching anthem. It's got references to another body dropping, there being no ambulance to save them before they die, and the Opps mum crying. They say that they're ducking a bunch of times and hopping out of cars shooting Opps. It's plain as day that they're talking about the murder of FBG Duck in great detail. Pretty brazen behaviour from two people that can't even go live on Instagram without dozens of random people pointing out that they were the people that took Duck's life. And so as we go into the new year of 2021, O Block members would continue to go live telling fans that they would soon get back for the death of King Von and that fans need to be patient.
Be patient. Don't be all on my live with all this war shit talking about people getting smoked in this get back and please BJ hurry up with something. Don't do that. Just be patient. Everything play out how it's supposed to play out. Don't talk to me about no war. Just let it play out. Be patient. Hey, what?
Yeah. Let me get it now.
Now, we'd already seen people using fake accounts to impersonate people like Zell Munna, saying incriminating things and trying to provoke Opps on live. But the deep fake confessions would reach the very top of the food chain in 2021, when in January a clip begins to circulate online that appears to show somebody prank calling Lil Durk. With this supposed Lil Durk on the other end of the phone, telling the prank caller that he swears on Duck's life that he will kill them.
Bitch, nigga, fuck you talking about.
What you mean I'm a bitch, nigga? Yo, Durk, I'll slap the shit out of you on phone them, nigga. Alright, let me stop playing with you, Lil Durk. Yo, Lil Durk, let me stop playing with you. What up, nigga?
Duck, I'll kill you, boy.
What?
Duck, I'll kill you, boy.
You scaring me. What you mean on Duck, you'll kill me? I'm sorry, man.
Now, this recording has been widely called out for being fake, but I think it's important to mention this because so much misinformation has circulated as part of this case that it makes it really hard to know what's true and what isn't. I don't know whether this is just intense speculation and fan fiction or some kind of information warfare either from the feds or the people involved trying to put people off of the reality of what happened. But regardless of the comments of a fake Lil Durk, the real Lil Durk would soon make his feelings about FBG Duck known to the entire world. And unfortunately, it wouldn't take long for the whole of America to start singing along with him. On December the 24th, 2020, Lil Durk releases an album called The Voice, entirely dedicated to the memory of King Von. And on that album, he had a song called Still Trappin' with a posthumous verse from King Von himself. And in that song, Von says, "I call up Muwop, he grab his Glock and he gon' shoot to kill." Meanwhile, Durk says, "Last op, he overgassed. Goddamn, he got backdoored. Goose, he overgassed. Dope, loose screws, I buy their ass poles." What do you think Goose is a reference to, right? Duck Goose? And Durk's saying he bought the poles. Anyway, around a month after this, he releases the deluxe version of The Voice. And this features a new song titled Should've Ducked. This is a diss song aimed directly at the deceased FBG Duck. A track filled with disses and disrespect, with the title line of the song being Durk saying, "I told my PO through the gate that I get high as fuck. She asked me how high do I get, I told her high as duck." He's saying he's smoking duck. And in hindsight, some of these lyrics look even more incriminating. Durk said on the track that he travels with his killers, even though his probation and open cases forbid him from being around gang members. Now, Ruger would come out responding to this track, saying that Durk was too scared to mention Duck when he was still alive, and questioning why they're not dissing the guys who killed Von.
I'm talking about Durk. I don't know, I just seen the live of his, man. He on there talking about I'm high as Duck and this and that. My folks, you just dead. Folks wasn't even, when folks was here, you scared to mention him. Cause you was scared he was gonna get bigger. But now folks dead, my folks want to mention folks' name. Get your scary ass on, man. Worry about them, man. Diss them. Them niggas even dissing y'all goofy ass. They making songs about you goofy ass niggas. Diss them. Stop dissing folks, man. Damn.
But regardless, the song Should've Ducked was a great success for Lil Durk. It featured Memphis's richest shooter, Pooh Shiesty, with this song serving as a spiritual sequel to their earlier collab, Back in Blood, with Should've Ducked being very successful in the mainstream music industry, landing at number 53 on the Billboard charts and attaining a gold sales certification. Lil Durk had half of America singing that they were smoking on Duck. And I can't deny that it was a good and kind of a catchy song. Hell, his ability to turn pain, death, and murder into catchy and high energy anthems that everybody can enjoy is literally why they call Lil Durk the voice. But you can't help but wonder just how you would feel if that was your friend, or your son, or your brother, whose name was being mocked and smoked in a song that's being played and loved by people all around the world. Which brings us to a very important part of this story, and one that I think has been massively overlooked by nearly everybody that has covered the murder of FBG Duck, and that is what his mother went through as the men that killed her son spent an entire year bragging about it online and to her face. The first snippet of Lil Durk's Should Have Ducked leaked on Christmas Day 2020. Well, finding out that a famous rapper is mocking and disrespecting your dead son in a song that's being played all around the world, while you're at home missing 2 children who were murdered by that rapper's friends, has got to be as heartbreaking as it gets. So, FBG Duck's mother, Lashina Weekly, aka Mama Duck, took to Instagram Live to respond, saying that Lil Durk wasn't dissing FBG Duck when he was still alive.
Now he wanna get high as fuck. He about to get high like Duck. Durk! He never did it while he was alive.
A month later, following the full-blown release of that song, Mama Duck took to live once again, going on a full-length rant addressing Lil Durk, or Goldilocks as she called him, tearing Durk apart and leaving nothing off the table.
Yeah, Goldilocks at it again. Goldilocks at it again. Durk steady dissing Duck on his deluxe album. This whole ass nigga, y'all. Let me tell y'all about Durk. Durk super goofy, big, gay ass, this bitch ass nigga. This whole ass bitch ass nigga ain't never did shit. Lil Reese choked his ass up in the club. He loved my son dick on his lips. He loved it. He loved the way Duck dick tastes. He gotta love the way Duck dick tastes. He a whole ass nigga that caught a blessing that came up and now he using all his good for evil. That don't never last long.
Ironically, Duck's mother says that Lil Durk clearly hasn't learnt his lesson from Bobby Shmurda, suggesting that Lil Durk is self-snitching in that song, saying that he's gonna get locked up and that Von would be getting locked up too if he wasn't dead.
This song he should have done. Motherfuckers don't get enough of Bobby Shmurda, huh? So, they the same thing got Bobby Shmurda, cause Von gone. Von ain't finna get no time. He gave him that money to pay them little boys over there for killing my son. Yeah, and now they all, his ass going too now. That just did it. I'm so glad he dropped that song. Can you say Bobby Shmurda on his way home while he about to go?
She would go on to say that it was Lil Durk that got Von to have Duck killed, saying that a RICO case is coming Durk's way and that he should be worried about his friend snitching.
You sent Von out to do it. You think your ass super overprotected, but I'm so glad the feds is watching your bitch ass. Can you say RICO? This song, I'ma get paid off of it. I'ma get paid off of it. And your dumb ass just got yourself booked, cause Von gone. He paid the shooters. He gone. He gone. Cause the feds finna get his ass. Good luck. Hope y'all ready to write y'all favorite rapper. You gonna need y'all to write them. Be supportive, cause your money ain't that long. God damn it, I know y'all some snitches. They own people telling on. They gonna have to kill everybody over there because that's how motherfuckers getting bumped. Why do 10 when you could tell on a friend? Y'all think motherfuckers solid, but watch how this shit go down when that motherfucking fair time hit their ass.
From here, Duck's mum went even further, revealing that since Von was killed, she's actually been writing letters to Lil Tim.
That's why I've been writing Lil Tim. I've been writing Lil Tim.
Mama Duck also had stern words for Von too, saying that Durk had turned a killer into a rapper and that if Von wasn't dead, he would have ended up being even bigger than Durk.
Motherfucker turned a killer into a rapper that was about to be bigger than the fake killer. That's a rapper, auto-tune singing ass.
Apparently in response to the backlash about the song, Durk tweeted simply that it's the Lamron in him. But perhaps Lil Durk wasn't wise for dismissing Mama Duck. You see, the whole time these O-Block guys were running around dissing Duck, saying they're smoking him, proudly rocking the badge of Duck Slayers as if they were never going to get caught, but they perhaps underestimated the fact that the mother of the person they killed would be watching and waiting, lurking and looking for a little get back of her own. But she wouldn't be getting back in the street like the heartless killers from O-Block. She would be looking for real justice. Now, I personally think Duck's mother's role in this story has been largely overlooked, because behind this story of hardened gangsters ready to kill for fun is the strong mother that lost 2 of her sons to the streets, who is left dealing with the grim consequences of this deadly war. Losing one son, Brick, must have been heartbreaking, but for the same people to come back later on and take another son from her, that's personal. And I've got to give her credit. I can't imagine many people would want to go on after losing 2 children in this way. But Lashina Weekly stepped up and said enough is enough, vowing to get justice for her sons. But this wouldn't be easy, and she would be subjected to heartache that no mother should have to endure in the pursuit of justice. She had posted that as part of the investigation, she was forced to review the autopsy photos for both of her sons who had been murdered, saying in a caption, "The way they did my sons let me know that they were some powerful motherfuckers and they had to make sure my babies were dead and out the way. But after reading these reports, Jesus, please help us. No mother, I mean none, not even my worst enemy." But even more brave than that, she would publicly speak about the case and call for justice for her sons regardless of the consequences. And she was no stranger to speaking out publicly. Even before Duck was taken away from her, Lashina Weekly was active online, uploading and going live on her own YouTube channel, which is called, I kid you not, Mama Duck Clout Chaser Slayer. Her channel was started on March the 8th, 2018, and she was already active online well before the tragedy of Duck's passing.
The Clout Chaser Slayer, because I'm slaying all Clout Chasers. They be doing too much.
It's funny, on social media, she's just as feisty as her son was, going at people in the comments, with a lot of people later commenting that they could see where Duck got his attitude from. And while he was still alive, Mama Duck promised that her channel would be the first destination for any news about what Duck had going on in his career.
Subscribe to my channel, y'all, so I can let y'all know what's coming up for Duck next. Y'all hear it first from me.
And you could tell that as Duck's career progressed, his mother was proud and wanted to play a part in his success. From here, she'd continue uploading clips of her rapping along to Duck and Ruger's songs. Honestly, Mama Duck's streams are kinda lit. I watched a lot of these. She seems like the kind of fun Chicago mum we all wish we had. Hell, I mean, you could catch Mama Duck on a normal day, vibing on live, bumping Chicago drill, smoking big gas, like any one of your favorite rappers would be doing. And you can see Duck's mum is involved in Duck's life too. She would go live at his birthday parties on her channel, showcasing his custom lean birthday cake, as well as showcasing the cardboard cutout of Brick, who had already passed away at this point. But unfortunately, following Duck's murder, things would change. Lashina Weekly wouldn't post in the immediate aftermath of her son's murder, and around 3 weeks after his passing, she would simply post a clip of her dancing with Duck at one of her earlier birthday parties. This was heartbreaking to see, and the comments are filled with condolences. But at the end of September, Mama Duck would return, going live with the title, "Stop the Clout Chasing Please," where she addressed the murder of her son and the rumors swirling about who was responsible, with her saying outright that she would let the police do their job.
The first rumor is I will not address it because I'm gonna let the police do their job. If anybody did this to Duck or that to Duck, they're gonna find out.
She would go on to warn people that are speculating about Duck's death online, saying that the police are still looking into things.
This internet is crazy. Like, you people are getting on this internet and just coming up with you guys' own conclusion. Don't think the police not investigating my son's shit. They know what they doing. They got everything. They know what they doing.
In fact, Mama Duck would even call on the city's gangs not to retaliate when they do find out who is responsible in an upcoming RICO.
Don't use my son's name as reasons to get back at these people, because God is gonna answer to them. They have to answer to God. And these feds ain't playing. That's all I'm saying. Because the RICO Act is in effect. Y'all ass better know it.
Now, it would take over a year from this upload for the feds to have their suspects in custody. And I can't imagine how difficult it must have been for Lashina Weekly to keep it together over that period. Knowing exactly who was responsible was still out there and bragging about it for the whole world to see. But Mama Duck stayed strong and continued to be a shining light in her community, doing what she could to bring about change and healing. Most notably, in November 2020, arranging a meetup and roundtable with the mothers of other famous slain Chicago drill figures like Lil Mister and Tooka to encourage healing in their community.
Nah, that's Tooka mama right there. We on the movement, y'all.
But also, Duck's mother was well positioned to call BS on all the misinformation that Duck's enemies had been spreading online. In January of 2021, she would call bluff on King Von's earlier claims that he had squashed the beef with Duck, going as far as to claim that she actually has all of FBG Duck's private Instagram DMs on a USB stick, including the ones from Von.
Text messages, social media, inboxes, DMs for everybody. So them Von DMs gonna be coming soon.
But King Von lying about his relationship with FBG Duck was really just the tip of the iceberg of the bullshit that this woman was forced to deal with online. Mama Duck would use her YouTube channel to rebuff ridiculous online theories about Duck's death, like one that suggested her ex-boyfriend had something to do with it.
People's on Instagram is sending me this, like, and it said FBG Duck killed by Mama's ex-boyfriend. Because this is ridiculous, what these people are doing and saying.
But if you think that's bad, you don't know the half of what this woman has had to deal with. She says that she regularly gets sent photographs of her son's dead body lying in the street by people online just looking to hurt her feelings.
He sent me this. He sent this to my phone. Now, I watched this video, y'all. And I just thank God so much. Because even in death, even in fucking death, they couldn't fuck with my son.
I've got to say, this detail really haunted me. Once again, it's all well and good for the fans to enjoy Chicago drill music, but when you're picking a side, directly harassing the mother of somebody who really lost their life in these streets, then you have to be a truly evil and hateful person. But considering just how deep the hatred in the streets of Chicago truly goes, then I suppose it's no surprise too that the hatred for Mama Duck never ends either. In fact, she would go live for hours on end, relaying the constant abuse that she gets on the internet. Unsurprisingly, with a lot of it being King Von related.
His message was, fuck that fat ass nigga Duck. If Von was still here, nigga Duck would have been this. Then they sent me pictures of this. Send me this. Handsome young man. Never did stand a handsome. Just handsome as hell. And then they say, like we said, Von way finer than your son. Your son look like a fat pig. His head look like a basketball. Who kid is this? Which y'all get y'all kid. He say smoking on that, and he got a duck emoji. Fuck Duck. We smoking on him. Yo, grandma and mom. And Tooka, yes sir. He won't say he from 63rd no more. His ass got let up on Gert and was lying on the ground. Say, Duck a bitch, he dissed on my cousin, now his ass all in the wood, huh? B-Roy popped out that car, that new Glock, I wish he would ring.
She's clearly going through a lot. She would come online to reply to rappers that were saying that they smoke on Duck.
My motherfucking son name and still getting y'all goofy ass on the internet talking about who the fuck y'all smoking. You dumb bitches ain't smoking no motherfucking body. I'm sick of y'all motherfucking ass. Then study using my motherfucking son name. Study using my son name like he ain't here to fucking see this shit. Talking about we smoking this, like that shit. After everything I'm trying to fucking do in my motherfucking son name, I ain't getting no tints on my car. Because if a motherfucker wanna kill me, they gonna know who the fuck they killing, who they shooting. And if so fucking be it, oh well, that was God's plan.
But all of her talking doesn't come without a price. She says that people threaten to kill her regularly, and considering what happened to 2 of her sons, there is no way that you can't take those threats seriously.
I got all these people inboxing me, threatening me, telling me they gonna kill me. Look, I got one person, FBG Duck should have ducked when they would shoot at his ass. Yo ugly ain't smoking on nobody. We smoking your dead grandma and son. Then he say, LOL, fuck your fat ass. Be ready for your son to put some flowers on your grave, little hoe. And man, pussy butt fine, bitch. Like we said, we smoking on Duck, fat ass head, pussy ass lady. It's always a fight night, hoe. As a human, as a parent, that shit hurts. I'm not finna act like it don't. I ain't finna. But that also let me know how important my son really was. So I try to find the positive in anything negative. My son was the shit to him. But he dick riding their favorite rapper so much that
If you ask me, Mama Duck's reflections on the loss of her son is one of the most important parts of this story. Because the disses, songs, and news clippings only really give one side of the story. Because the loss that Duck's mother has had to suffer as a real-life consequence to the lyrics that these guys are rapping about is hard to appreciate without seeing it firsthand. I know a lot of people, the mayor of Chicago included, want to write FBG Duck off as just another gang member, drill rapper that deserved to be murdered and was asking for it. But when we're confronted with these clips, it's impossible to say that anybody deserves to lose a son or go through what Lashina Weekly went through. Regardless of the fact that Duck dissed a lot of dead people and was disrespectful in his music, it's wrong to make any suggestion that he deserved to die for this. And Duck's mum would even go as far as to say that she was actually proud that he had never killed anybody in these streets.
And I'm proud to say my son ain't never killed nobody. I'm proud to say that. I don't give a fuck what he rapped about or talked about. I'm proud to say that my son was not known for being no shooter.
The most important part of the Mama Duck story to me is her strength. She didn't give up where a lot of people would have crumbled under the pressure, pain, and heartbreak, vowing that anybody that had something to do with Duck's murder would face justice and she would make sure of it. And you know what? She really did.
Anybody that got something to do with my son's demise, trust and believe me, they will get caught. I will get justice. They will get caught. I won't miss a court date. I don't want nothing bad to happen to these people. Cause dead, you dead. If you die, you fucking dead. You ain't suffering, you ain't being repentant for what you did, you dead, and you might go to heaven. I don't want that for them. Justice will come for my son. I'm being patient. I'm letting them investigate because ain't nobody slipping through these cracks. Period.
At a certain point, you've got FBG Duck diss songs going gold and hitting the charts. Everyone in O Block is self-snitching and using their clout in the streets to get ahead in music and on social media. It really doesn't take long for people to start putting two and two together. Reddit's Chiracology sub knew what was up from day one. Highly speculative body count scoreboards for O Block's GetBackGang members had circulated there for some time, and a YouTube channel called Chicago Scene 88 would make a video about the murder of FBG Duck only 3.5 months after it had taken place, identifying a number of people as the shooters with alarming accuracy.
When Duck and Day-Day came out from the store, two cars pulled up next to them. One dark Ford Fusion and a gray Chrysler 300. C-Thang, Zell, DQ, Muwop from a block jumped out of the car, started shooting Duck, his girlfriend and Day-Day.
Meanwhile, other smaller channels are putting together incredible theories, piecing together evidence, linking members to the crime. One video was able to connect a Ford used in the crime to Los using Chicago police scanner audio and IG lives recorded on O Block.
So they said a black 2016 Ford that was involved in Duck's shooting came back to a Carlos offer. I found that dude's mugshot.
And it was later revealed by the feds that Los had actually purchased that car a week before the shooting and returned it shortly after. In another since deleted Reddit post, internet sleuths were able to link the other car used in the crime, a Chrysler 300, to Kenny Mack, with him apparently liking the dealership where the car was sold on his personal Facebook, being seen driving it on IG lives that were still active on his page, and even using the VIN number of that car to determine that it had been towed away from O Block in the past. And these posts had people in the comments saying that this was some fine-ass detective work. Others on YouTube were collating the most incriminating footage that members had put out themselves.
Another episode of FBG Duck's Killers, and today we got C-Thang. This little piece of footage here I'm gonna show you is after they did the hit, celebrating and shit, knowing that they're gonna get paid.
Around the yes, place the ground.
Another body drop.
Who you smoking on from the rack, man? What'd you say? What'd you say? They can't hear you, folks. Duck, duck. You smoking that duck, duck, crack, crack. Duck, duck, crack, crack. You say you smoking that duck, my boy KSoo smoking that duck.
Meanwhile, people on Reddit are openly posting pictures of Duck's killers, people like C-Thang, along with captions labeling him Duck Killer as early as March 2021. Another crazy theory spreads that the guy who filmed Duck dying in the street in the immediate aftermath of the shooting must have somehow been involved in the crime, and I gotta say it was always a little bit suspicious that he was on the scene, immediately started filming from a distance, yet somehow already knew with complete accuracy that it was rapper FBG Duck Duck laying there dying on the ground.
They shot FBG Duck, man. I don't know who shot him, man. I just fucking ran into this, y'all. Man.
Meanwhile, even with the internet openly identifying everybody involved, those that were on the hit still haven't been arrested, and they continue to snitch on themselves like they're invincible. And one of the most insane examples came from Muwop, who posted this picture of a set of shoes to his own Instagram, along with a rather incriminating caption. Yes, that is Donald Duck caught off guard in the flash of a camera shooting him. For the record, these are actually Gucci shoes, so no, he didn't have these custom made, but goddamn it, he picked them, chose to buy them, and chose to post them on his IG with a goddamn winking face emoji. Look, make of that what you will. It doesn't necessarily mean that he did it, but I've got to say that is probably one of the most creative ways of self-snitching I have ever seen. But even with the added heat of the internet, Duck's mum, and I assume some kind of police investigation, the self-snitching does not stop. And throughout 2021, Duck's presumed killers would continue their self-snitching campaign right up until the moment when it was too late. By the time Lil Durk dropped Should Have Ducked, there was really no point pretending anymore. The members on O Block didn't care who knew what and would reference the killing of Duck for jokes. On January the 27th, 2021, Zell and C-Thang go live dissing dead Opps and rapping about hopping out of cars and shooting, and another about chasing Opps like Duck, Duck, Goose.
Bitch, I'm not no rapper, I'm a shooter, I'll shoot you in your shit. We got blicks 4 deep in them hot cars, them sticks. See the op, jump out, hit them all up in this shit. Boss man can't come around cause his ass a rat here.
At a certain point, it seems like these guys got some kind of sick sadistic satisfaction out of seeing people in the IG comments say that they knew that they killed Duck. In this live, they asked the viewers to name all of their dead Opps like it was a game, saying specifically that they're ducking no bodies.
Fuck with us, man, say fuck all Opps, man. Name all the dead Opps, man, name they ass.
And we ain't ducking nobody.
Name they ass. Name all the Opps that's dead.
On January the 30th, 2021, C-Thang goes live where he's forced to address numerous comments regarding the rumors that he and his O Block homies killed Duck.
Never did nothing to nobody. I don't know why y'all keep saying that lame shit. I never did nothing to nobody. Never did nothing to nobody. I'm a good boy. Man, look, man, y'all on some real police shit, man. You to my boy, little ass. Yeah, tell him, yeah, I'm really not a rapper. I'm just doing this shit for the money. I just want the money out this shit. Shit easy. You just gotta be gangster on that bitch. That's it. Talk gangster. No capping that shit.
Now, for the record, during this live, C-Thang looks completely strung out off lean, whilst parading a bottle of wok on the screen. I mean, this live just goes to show you the mind state that these alleged killers were in at this point, numbing their pain with drugs and struggling to live with the reality that they had ended up in, knowing that their days are numbered. And he wasn't the only one. In April, Zell Munna goes live in O Block with Lil Reese, and during this live, he shows off a bunch of pills and drink, again seemingly numbing the pain of what he's been through and possibly of what's to come.
Yerks and weed and we don't got yerks on the If you want yerks, call That's clean.
In fact, there's even a moment in this live where Zell sings along to a King Von lyric about having bodies, catching himself and then looking off camera suddenly.
Let's talk bodies, I got.
But don't get it mistaken, he's still all over this live dissing dead Opps.
Fuck Terry Berry, Poppie, and Brick.
Now, with King Von gone and many of the remaining O Block members hoping to make a go of it in the rap game, it seems they'd all decide to just try and diss dead people to kickstart their careers and get clout for being real gangsters. Each of them trying to be as dangerous or savage as King Von was known to be. By March 24th, 2021, Muwop is posting music snippets to his story saying that he's smoking on Duck, and as Muwop starts to develop his skills as a rapper, he sets out to drop a whole bunch of incriminating songs. Muwop and DQ dropped their track Spin It on June the 2nd, 2021, with the whole track basically being dedicated to dissing TB or Terry Barry by his government name, which we know now was supposed GetBack for T-Roy, with Muwop jumping on the chorus of the song saying they're smoking Terry Barry, that they left him Bloody Mary, and that the scene of the crime was very scary. Later that month, on the 20th of June, C-Thang and Big Woney would talk on IG Live about how many people got stepped on after they released diss songs.
How many people got stepped on? Right.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
A couple of days after that, Duke drops a vlog on O Block where several of Duck's alleged killers are seen hanging out together. Duke himself puts on every single O Block chain, along with a couple of OTF chains for good measure and to make sure Lil Durk is implicated. Meanwhile, Muwop is yelling about how he shoots people in the head and body, and telling everybody that a Goofy died with his doggy or homie. Muwop is out there posing for pictures and asking where's C Murder so that he can get on camera too. And once they're all together, what do? Well, they record them all rapping along to an incriminating song about smoking on Duck.
I don't give a fuck, niggas play crazy to his head like Duck.
Actually, they sung that twice to make sure the feds heard it.
Bitch got hit, I don't give a fuck, niggas play crazy to his head like Duck.
Well, they did it a third time as well.
Niggas play crazy to his head like Duck.
Okay, so what they were actually doing was filming a music video for this song they were rapping, so they obviously had to perform this song countless times that day. But I gotta say, it was a bit of an interesting decision for whoever edited this vlog to just repeatedly show these opening lyrics in numerous locations, indicating to me that they really wanted to know whoever was watching this vlog that they were specifically trying to disrespect Duck. Now, that particular song would release on YouTube on June the 25th. It was Duke's song 12 AM, and that song itself had a whole bunch of other incriminating lines. Notably, self-identifying as GetBackGang and saying that they do what they do in the memory of HK. Muwop would go on to drop a snippet of his own upcoming song the following month, this time with a lyric stating a dude from 63rd couldn't get back up, and saying that they had to mask up.
Move on from the O, with them get back up. Dude from 63rd couldn't get back up. Yeah, we had to mask up another body that's a plus, tuck a nigga like I'm rough.
Honestly, it's not even worth wearing the mask if you're gonna run around telling everybody you did the crime for a year, but anyway. At a certain point, the famous King Von mural is unveiled across the street from O Block, ironically being revealed only a year and a day after Duck's murder. BJ from O Block ends up going live on Instagram and walking from O Block to the mural. But to me, this video really highlighted something important about the life that these guys were living. Because at this point, the fear of being shot to death just stepping across the road from their own block is so serious that they have to roll like a full-blown military operation just to cross the street and look at a mural. And the whole time, the members are looking over their shoulders, clutching at pistols, and dripping in paranoia.
I'm letting y'all know, I'm letting y'all know, I know it's a lot of ops on this bitch. I'm letting y'all see where I'm at. Y'all know a nigga ain't been out here surviving for shit, so y'all know it come with a motherfucker. Why is this black truck still right here? What the fuck? I'm finna go over there and give me something to drink. I'm finna get y'all a close up on this bitch real quick. Watch that truck right there. Watch fish bowls too on OD. Oh, that's obvious. Finna walk up on 4 shit real quick. 4 shit over there. Let y'all see where I'm at. Not scared of shit. Gauge that way. Gauge that way. Phone them, G-son, stop playing with him.
Well, clearly the danger of being at that mural isn't so bad, because a couple of days later, Lil Durk would head on over to the King Von mural for a photo opportunity, being pictured with a whole bunch of O Block members, including Muwop, who's standing right next to him and doing the GD killer hand sign over Lil Durk's head. Not a great look, but things only got worse, because that same month, Muwop's track For Real drops on the 20th of August. And the track For Real really does live up to its title, because the whole thing is a true self-incrimination fest. The song is wall-to-wall lyrics about shooting people in public and doing drills with nothing more than a driver, with Muwop frequently reminding viewers that his lyrics are for real. Muwop was following the King Von template, speaking openly in music about his crimes, and people were rocking with it. People were in the comments of Muwop's videos saying that King Von would be proud of him, and I'm sure he would have been. But the thing is, not everybody would be feeling as confident as Muwop. You see, in April, Zell Munna would post lyrics on his Instagram saying that he's traumatized by homicides. Other images would circulate of Facebook statuses he'd apparently made around this time, suggesting that he had been struggling mentally. And then he was seen on IG Live apparently moving out of O Block after the apparent birth of a new child in May.
I'm moving out the trenches. I'm gonna follow that shit, boy. They know what's going on, though. At least you know.
Of course, there were comments calling him the Duck Slayer and suggesting that the Opps will just follow him to wherever he moves. But then, on August the 24th, after posting cryptic, emotional stories to his Instagram, it's reported that Zell Munna took his own life, committing suicide. Muwop went on to post a tribute to his Instagram, but you have to wonder what must have hurt more, the loss of their friend Zell or the unanswered questions about why he might have done this. He was long rumoured to have been involved in Duck's murder, constantly receiving comments from people who seemed to know. His car was identified in the shooting, and a lot of speculation has gone around as to why he might have taken his own life. Did he know the cops were closing in? Had they already got to him? Some rumours have swirled that they had, and that he might have even snitched and taken himself out before the other members could have done it to him. But then again, when you consider the fact that he was apparently related to Slutty, T-Roy and HK, perhaps the trauma of losing so many people so close to him just became too much. There was other speculation that his suicide was completely unrelated and had something to do with a woman, but regardless, Zell was gone and there were a lot of unanswered questions. In September, there's a massive party on O Block, apparently a tribute for Zell, where all of O Block are seen turning up and chanting along to the lyrics of King Von's Back Again, mobbing pretty deep in the middle of Parkway Gardens. Of course Muwop is there, and of course he's going live, but who do you think joins his live to check in and see what's going on? None other than Lil Durk.
What y'all on? Getting them members? Hey, what?
Yeah.
That bitch busting, you hear me?
Yeah, we had to do a bid for Love Bro Friend. Gang, GetBackGang, OTL shit, man. We out here for Bobby.
In hindsight, maybe Lil Durk shouldn't have been so close to Muwop or the other members. He'd already let being too close to King Von land him in hot water, but Durk clearly hadn't learned his lesson, because in the lead up to the sweep by the FBI, he'd apparently taken Muwop on tour with him, where they had both been seen together rolling around on private jets and flexing together with big stacks of money.
Hold on. What that is? I gotta get on live. What that is? Who got the most views? Let's see that. Who got the most views?
Yes, Muwop was all on Durk's plane, very comfortable indeed, even posing for pictures with fans, while throwing up gang signs and calling himself Gangster Killer.
Gangster Killer. Take my mom. Gangster Killer.
Yeah, man. You gotta control. Gotta be controlled.
Perhaps all of this is why Lil Durk rapped on Meek Mill's song Sharing Locations that he still hangs with all the murderers. And I guess those lyrics weren't cap. But when in the next lyric he says that he's paying the lawyers for all of the murderers, it really does make you wonder what Lil Durk is going to do next. Because finally, after over a year of investigation with no arrests, the FBI would finally raid O Block, taking 5 people into custody for the murder of FBG Duck.
Alan, tonight federal law enforcement officials say they are charging 5 Chicago street gang operatives with racketeering in the 2020 Oak Street hit on Carlton Weekly. The rapper, known as FBG Duck, investigators say he was a gang member whose videos had irked members of a rival gang, 5 of whom tonight stand charged with his killing under the RICO statute, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, that in 1970 was created to help dismantle traditional organized crime, aka the mob.
Yes, eventually the FBI closed in on O Block, like the Chicago outfit back in the 1930s, rolling into the area in armored personnel vehicles, leaving with 5 alleged killers in custody. The FBI would hold a press conference announcing that 5 individuals had been indicted and arrested for the murder of Duck.
We are here today to announce charges which charge 5 individuals with federal crimes relating to the August 4th, 2020 murder of Chicago rapper Carlton Weekly, who's also known as FBG Duck. That indictment alleges that these 5 individuals were members or associates of the O Block street gang.
Those 5 people charged, names that you're probably very familiar with at this point, were Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny Mac, Carlos Offord, aka Los, Christopher Thomas, aka C-Thang, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwop. 4 were arrested that morning, 1 of them was in jail already on other charges, and the indictment labelled the O Block street gang as a racketeering organisation, stating that the murder of FBG Duck was done to further the O Block criminal enterprise, and going as far as to say that O Block members would brag about their crimes publicly and taunt rivals on the internet.
Publicly claiming responsibility for acts of violence committed by the enterprise, taunting rival gang members, and also alleges that the O Block enterprise sought to increase its status through the use of social media platforms and music.
These guys really did want the entire world to know what they had done, and it really was only a matter of time until the feds took a closer look at it. And unsurprisingly, the social media posts that these guys had been making along the way were named specifically by the FBI as being part of the racket, with the feds even going as far to tell the public in their press conference that you can go online and look up O-Block members bragging publicly about the crimes that they were doing in the streets.
There's publicly available material where I think you can learn more about the activities of certain individuals. But generally speaking, what's happening on social media and what's happening in music videos that are on YouTube, particularly in the drill rap genre, it shows you what's happening in this city. It shows you exactly what's happening in the city, which is that people are threatening to commit acts of violence and then either bragging about acts of violence or talking about how they're going to retaliate for other acts of violence. But for instance, you can go on the internet right now, you can see people in music videos, guns all over the place, talking about who they've shot or who they're going to shoot.
The FBI actually elaborated on the fact that O-Block's crimes were apparently so far-reaching that the case ended up going federal.
This was one of those cases we were able to bring federal resources to bear to work with the Chicago Police Department to ultimately help us make the case. We were able to establish evidence to indicate that there was a racketeering enterprise here that was involved, and this murder was done in furtherance of that, and so federal charges were appropriate.
This isn't a great look for anybody that spent a lot of time with O-Block members, especially in other states. Mama Duck would come out to make an emotional announcement that her son's killers had been finally captured.
They got them. They got these son of a bitches. They got them, they got them, they got them, they got them, they got them. And all that shit you motherfuckers was talking, the Fed just called me and told me they arrested Muwop, they arrested C-Thang, they arrested 2 more, it was 5 people that they have in custody. The little boy who killed himself August the 24th was one of the shooters that shot my son. They just told me that too. No, they're not still investigating nothing. It's over with. Now they got to prove they self-innocent. And my son was killed by some kids. Like, these is kids. Their mamas can still see their kids. I can't see mine.
She would later go live on Instagram with a slightly more pointed attitude.
People be so motherfucking cocky. The motherfuckers that did that shit, they ain't got away with shit. You might think you did, but you didn't. They got them motherfuckers future. They caught them some of bitches, they got them. Justice for Bricknecks. That little baby that killed himself in Parkway, he was one of them. And they got the other 5. They from Old Block, baby. That's why the mayor said what she said about my son, because she was already on their dick.
Duck's mom even went as far as to call out Bosstop for self-snitching in that earlier interview.
Thanks, Bosstop, for opening your big ass mouth. Yeah, keep on being cocky.
She would go on to say that it's going to cost $2 million for 5 people to defend themselves against a federal case, pondering whether whoever was paying the lawyers for all the murderers would still be bankrolling them after this news.
They need 5 federal motherfucking defense attorneys. That's goddamn it what? Over $2 million worth of attorney fees. We finna see how much motherfuckers love them for real. And for you motherfuckers that was happy that they took my son, they gonna need y'all to be by their motherfucking side. Cause everybody else involved ain't here no more. I deal with it and suffer. And the motherfuckers that ain't here, they finna dislocate theyself from y'all ass. We're about to see all the motherfuckers that was harboring them and keeping them with them and all that. They ass finna be so disclosed from they ass. Watch what I motherfucking tell you.
After the news broke, O-Block loyalists, still on the outside, took to social media to say free the members, with others openly speculating on Zell's potential involvement as an informant before his suicide. Now, some of the remaining O-Block members continued to go live as a show of face, while so-called O-Block youngers begun going live too, apparently ready to fill the void left by the older hitters from their block being locked up. Soon after the news was announced, Lil Durk unfollowed Muwop on Instagram and tweeted that he wants to go back to high school. For a moment, some people thought, hey, maybe this is Lil Durk truly going on the straight and narrow in life. Other people could see that tweet for what it really was, damage control. But clearly Lil Durk wasn't too worried about his image, because the day after the indictment and tweeting that he was planning to go back to high school, he still went ahead with the release of his track Pissed Me Off, which is yet another Get Back anthem apparently dedicated to his recently murdered brother. And at a certain point, it really does just make you wonder, when's it all going to end?
my son was killed by some kids like these. It's kids. Their mamas can still see their kids. I can't see mine.
They shot FBG Duck, man. I don't know who shot him, man. I just fucking ran into this, y'all. Man.
2 attack cars, 4 shooters, and a hail of bullets. He was a new millennium rapper, FBG Duck.
Over the course of researching this video, I came across a powerful Reddit comment, which said the streets are connected to the internet through phones. Simple as that. And it's facts. This is a deadly war that's been playing out on the streets of Chicago for decades. Some naive people want to blame the music and say that it's drill rappers making the youth more violent, overlooking the fact that young men were killing each other for no reason in the same streets of Chicago all the way back in the 70s. Sure, you only heard about the modern day street violence going on in Chicago from the likes of Chief Keef, who became popular not for dissing dead Opps, but for the great music he made. What changed in the last few years wasn't about music, it was about clout, social media, and smartphones. Because today's gangs are still waging the same tit-for-tat revenge wars that they were back in the day. The only difference is they're now being recorded and documented on social media for the world to see. King Von was talking about his love for killing on Twitter all the way back in 2012 before he'd even picked up a microphone. The only difference is, back then, nobody cared. Von was boasting about murders for clout and attention to an audience of 20 people. It was only when he started making hit music and popping up on The Breakfast Club talking about beating bodies that his exploits became of interest to the public. And it was only after King Von started rapping that he realized he could swap his notoriety in the streets for clout on the internet. Sure, Von is a good rapper, but the reason most people were interested in him was because he'd apparently killed a bunch of people and got away with it. And most importantly, Von's dirt in the street was backed up and verifiable on social media. There was years of evidence people could go back and look through to confirm that King Von was really what he rapped about. GetBackGang left a 10-year trail of breadcrumbs on the internet, so everybody knew that they were real killers and real gangsters and that their music was real. But to me, it really makes no sense that if you were truly a killer in the street who had got away with a bunch of crimes, why on earth would you want to make yourself famous? There never really seemed to be a true endgame for King Von and his crew. In fact, Von once said in an interview that he was just going hard in his career until the feds came, as if he knew that his days were numbered and that he would eventually have to pay for all of the dirt that he had done in the streets.
You pushing it real hard too. I think.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm working. We ain't letting up. We don't go. I'm trying to go crazy real quick, but the feds come.
It's highly possible that had King Von not been killed that night in Atlanta, that he might be facing justice as part of this conspiracy, along with the 5 other people accused of killing Duck. But it doesn't really surprise me that King Von continued to push violence even after his music became successful. Because where a lot of people use music as an opportunity to make money and get out of the dangerous streets they came up in, by the time Von had legitimate money and clout in the music industry, he just straight up seemed far more happy to see an op murdered than to see his album on the charts. To me, Von really seemed addicted to the wrong kind of clout, and I'd wager that Von personally didn't see his success in music as anywhere near as respectable as his success in the streets. Let's not forget that FBG Duck's nickname was Big Clout, and he really did live up to that name. While he was alive, he was the top op in Chicago. He had the highest level bounty in the city, he was the most wanted GD, he was a trophy to his enemies. And having already surpassed him in his music career, Von didn't seem content with just being bigger and more successful than Duck. Him and his crew wanted nothing more than to see Duck dead. But unfortunately for those who killed Duck, they seemed to think that they were committing the perfect crime. A killing after a string of killings that had never been solved, that the police didn't seem to have any interest in. I suppose GetBackGang just thought FBG Duck was just another one of those 60% of murders that the police in Chicago never solve. So by the time they killed Duck, claiming the biggest trophy in the city's gang war, they simply couldn't keep it to themselves. They were desperate for the clout in the streets. So they disrespected, smoked, and insulted Duck at every opportunity they could. They didn't care who knew it, and ultimately that was a big part of their downfall. But at the end of the day, no one can really expect to assassinate somebody so publicly and think they're just going to get away with it, self-snitching or not. But really, what are we left with at the end? Duck, his brother, and dozens of other people from the neighborhood are dead. His mother mourns the loss of 2 sons, a pain that nobody should ever have to go through. Dozens of innocent citizens in Chicago are left hurt, traumatized, and scarred for life as a result of the violence that they have been forced to witness in the streets. But at the same time, it's hardly justice to see 5 more young black men likely headed to jail for the rest of their lives. Because in a way, they too were victims, being born into a cycle of violence that they or their families would never have chosen and really can never truly understand. This story is really a tragedy on all fronts, and my only real hope is that the next generation of young men can learn something from these stories and do better. Doing better for themselves so that they can have a better, safer, and more successful life, and better for their communities, so that their brothers, mothers, friends, no matter what block they're from, can try and help each other, elevate each other, and push themselves forward, rather than dragging each other back and ending the lives lives of their brothers and sisters meaninglessly. The gang life is truly to be avoided. It's nothing more than an endless cycle of revenge and get back, when that time, energy, and emotion could be spent doing something positive to better the world or your own community. There's a million different positive things that the young men who lost their lives in this story could have been doing today. Making music, building businesses, starting a charity. All of that lost potential is a true tragedy. Literally anything is better than killing your brothers and sisters for reasons that were never even properly explained to you. I hope you learned a lot from this story. I learned a lot from writing it, and I want to thank you for watching. Rest in peace to everybody who lost their lives as part of this ongoing war, and of course, rest in peace to FBG Duck.